get started tonight. Welcome all of you to our meeting tonight, and glad you can make it here with us. We'd like to thank Principal Nanette Wilson and Watson, speaking up here, put my glasses on now. Nanette Watson and the staff here at Lomond for hosting us tonight and for helping us to set up and get everything ready. We would like to excuse Board Member Bruce Jardine tonight. We'll still have a quorum with his absence. We're going to start off tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be conducted by Board Member Riley Williams.
Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Whitey. We're going to introduce everybody here tonight first. Go. To my left here is our Superintendent, Gina Butters. I'm Paul Wilson. I represent Precinct 4, which is Hooper in the west part of Weaver County. Doug Hurst is our Vice President. He's in Precinct 5, Riverdale, and a portion of Washington Terrace. Portion of Roy now, yeah, they changed lines. Janice Christensen is Precinct number 6. She's the eastern portion of North Ogden and all of the Ogden Valley. Bruce Jardine, that's not with us, is Precinct 3. He's the communities of South Ogden and Uinta. Jan Burrell is Precinct 2. She's the Roy community and some of the surrounding area just right there. Kelly Larson is Precinct number 1, all of Pleasant View, a portion of Plain City, Far West, Harrisville, and North Ogden. And Wiley Williams is Precinct number 7, a portion of Roy City, and a small portion of unincorporated Weaver County. And on the end is Mr. Brock Mitchell. He is our business administrator for the district. The purpose of our gathering here tonight is to hear public comment regarding the school closure boundary study initiated by the Board of Education on the 3rd of December 2025, and it's formal our monthly board meeting. We'll have a brief overview of the school closure and boundary study process, a summary of the rationale, the data sources, and the timeline. And just want to clarify to everyone that there's not been any board action yet, and there will be none at this meeting tonight. We're just here to listen to you tonight.
All right, so appreciate everybody being here as well, and I want to thank the lovely parent group that supplied the care package over here from the board. It has some sugar and some water, just in case the board needs some treats. So we sure appreciate your hospitality and your kindness on that score. My job tonight as superintendent is to provide a quick overview of the process that we've undertaken as part of this school closure boundary study. And I want to make sure that we're very transparent about that. So first of all, why Lomond Elementary in terms of being selected for a school to do a closure study on? We have gone through this rationale during each of our formal board business meetings over the past 3 months, so I'll just reiterate what we have stated. First of all, Lomond is an older and aging building in our district. As you all know, it was built in 1959. It has ongoing maintenance challenges and costs. We have a new modern learning facility, Orchard Springs, that's located just very nearby, and it is operating at half capacity right now. It was opened in 2019, and we've seen minimal enrollment growth at Orchard Springs across the last 6 years. We are also in Weaver School District, as many school districts are experiencing right now, we are experiencing stagnant or declining student enrollment in our elementary schools across the district. Lomond is experiencing the same trend as is North Ogden and Orchard Springs. And so those are the main reasons that we initiated this study to speak to tonight. Our main goal is to provide information and to make sure that the public has multiple opportunities to give input. This board is listening. They want to make the best informed decision that they can. We know that this is a very emotional topic. Lomond is a wonderful school community, and we know that. Weaver School District will be studying other schools and other school communities related to the same factors that I've talked about tonight in the near future because of the enrollment trends that we're seeing across the district and the state right now. Let me just quickly provide an overview of our last 3 board meetings and what was covered. We're not going to cover all of the presentations that we have formally already covered in our board meetings, but I do want to give you just a brief overview. So September 3rd, as President Whitson indicated, we initiated the notification requirements for a school closure and boundary change process. That is as per our policy 6250. We have to get formal notice. Policy 6250 guides these core principles in Weaver School District. We want to make sure that we optimize the use of new facilities while providing equal access to opportunities for all of our students. We want to enhance operational efficiency. We want to make sure that we use funds effectively and prudently as a school district. We want to make sure that we reduce impact on school enrollment, school boundaries in terms of looking at a study. We want to make sure that we also analyze all of the different variety of factors that go into this decision, and I'll cover a few of those just briefly here. During that September meeting, the board approved a recommendation number 1, which was to establish a district boundary committee study team to organize and conduct a boundary study involving Orchard Springs, North Ogden elementaries, and to conduct a boundary study involving Orchard Springs, North Ogden, and Lomond. In addition, that recommendation included formally designating Lomond as the school to study for potential closure. The board also approved recommendation number 2 in that September meeting, which was to initiate the notification requirements for a school closure, and those notification requirements have been completed. And then I'll fast forward to October 1st board meeting, the next board meeting. The board had a presentation of information that was collected from the prior month's time. And let me just cover some of the topics that were included in that Board of Education presentation. We looked at student enrollment trends, potential reasons for the enrollment decline, including birth rate declines statewide and nationally. We looked at our mobility declines, and just to define mobility for you, that is the number of students that enter kindergarten in an elementary school and how many exit as a 6th grader. Okay. We looked at enrollment data related to the DLI programming that is going on at Majestic and also at Bates Elementaries. The presentation to the board then shifted to a capital study where information was presented to the board in terms of some of the capital needs that we're looking at with Lomond. Some of those considerations: unenforced masonry, air conditioning, power constraints, some repiping issues that are ahead of us, heating concerns, interior doors and lock upgrades that are needed to be in compliance with recent legislation around safety mandates, exterior doors and access upgrades that are needed. We also talked about some of the recent capital upgrades that have been done at Lomond and potential upgrades that would need to be looked at. We talked a little bit that night about facility safety inspections and some of the outcomes of those inspections and operational cost considerations. Lastly, I'll move to our most recent board meeting on November 5th. As another study presentation was given to the board in terms of what was collected from October to November as part of the study. And those topics included Utah State Board of Education's enrollment report that just recently came out and its impact in Weaver School District, our projected enrollment growth that we are currently studying that is based on housing development discussions that we've been having with Pleasant View City and North Ogden City municipalities. And we have acknowledged that those projections are in progress. We're still collecting that data. We talked more about birth rate and student mobility rates. We talked about portables and how they're used in Weaver School District in terms of the schools around us. And lastly, in that meeting, we talked about the impact of a school closure in Lomond on special classrooms, including preschool and our SEL, or special education classrooms at the schools involved. So that's an overview of the process. I'll turn the mic back to President Winston. Thank you.
Thanks, Superintendent. Let me just give you a quick overview of what happened here tonight, and then we'll formally open the public hearing. The purpose is to receive public input on the proposed school possible boundary change, possible school closure. Speakers will be called in the order that they have completed the sign-up process. So some signed up electronically, others just signed up tonight. We have about 73, I believe, on the list. We will start with the electronic sign-up, and then we'll go to the ones that signed up tonight. Speakers can come up here to the front. Will you please come up here to the front and use the microphone that's here so that everyone in the gym here can hear us. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address the board, and there's a timer that on the screen so that you can kind of track yourself as you're making your presentation. And we ask that each speaker will note their name, their city residence, and whether they are speaking on behalf of the group or of themselves. We noticed on the sign-up sheet that we have multiple individuals that are signed up from the same family. If we could ask that if you're a family group and would like to speak, if you come up as a family, that'd be wonderful, and speak that way. Individuals from groups may submit their comments in writing to the board, and Pam Wallen over here on the end, the board's administrative assistants, can collect your comments. Tonight, our job is just to listen. We won't engage in dialogue or anything. We're just here to listen, to take notes as we jump further into this study. Just a note that any written comments that give to Pam are also submitted with the recording of this meeting and will become public record. This will be recorded tonight, but it's not live streamed, but it will be recorded. So with that, board, I would ask for a motion to formally open this public hearing. Doug, Janice, any discussion, questions, comments before we start? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, the public hearing is now formally open, and we will start asking for people to come to the microphone. What I would like to do is handle this like a baseball game. I'll call a name up, but then I'll call 2 other names, and we'll just kind of keep it going. Somebody on deck, somebody in the hole is sort of speaking, and that'll help us flow just a little better. So let's start off first with Olivia Andrew, followed by Justin Nipko, and then Ryden Ramsden, please.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Andrew. I'm a Pleasant View resident. I am here tonight as a Lomond View parent, neighbor, and advocate for our community. We've all seen the data, both from the district and from the parents and community members who have spent countless hours reviewing it. But even in the district's own projections, one thing is clear. If Lomond View closes, both North Ogden and Orchard Springs will have no classroom space available. Those schools will be full, leaving no room for growth, no flexibility, or no capacity for new families moving into our growing communities, which it was projected of about 3,000 new homes to be built in Pleasant View and North Ogden alone. Right now, schools use their extra rooms to enrich students' lives for things like small group instructions, accommodations for special needs, art, robotics, and other programs that make learning meaningful. Filling every available space with classrooms removes that flexibility and limits opportunities for students. To move forward with a plan that depends on the continued decline in enrollment is risky at best. Enrollment has always ebbed and flowed, and we are still seeing the ripple effects of COVID, economic shifts, and the housing shortage, all of which would make projections far less certain. Closing Lomond View doesn't solve a problem or save money, it simply shifts it and could create new problems and expenses in the near future. But beyond the numbers, Lomond View is a school that works. It's a place where teachers know their students, where learning is personal, and where programs like The Leader in Me aren't just words on the wall. They're lived out every single day. Lomond View consistently performs at the top 10% of the schools in the state and is currently the top performing elementary school in the Weber School District. That success comes from the dedication of teachers, students, families working together. I've seen teachers challenge advanced learners and with the same care support and those struggling students, helping them grow both in confidence and ability. I've seen children who once felt unseen find their voice here. For many families, Lomond View isn't just a school, it's a safe, steady place that gives kids a reason to love learning. If we close that door, we lose more than a building. We lose a culture, a community, and a kind of connection that larger schools just simply can't replicate. I understand the district's challenges. I understand the need to plan responsibly for the future, but responsible choice is also a sustainable one, the one that keeps options open, protects capacity, and preserves what is already working for students here today. Lomond View is exactly what the district is striving for all of its schools to be like. Lomond View is not the right school for closure. Tonight, you will hear many data points, heartfelt stories, and thoughtful solutions. Please listen closely to the voices of your patrons, the people you serve. We've poured our time, our resources, and our hearts into this. The message is clear. The majority wants Lomond View to stay open. Let's not close a thriving school based on uncertainty. Let's invest in the future by keeping the heart of this community beating strong. Thank you.
You're going to make me look at myself. Board, superintendent, thank you for the time. I am Justin Nipko. I'm a parent of Lomond View students. Justin Nipko, N-I-P-K-O. And I'm also here as a business professional. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I worked at Autoliv, which I think is where Wiley's at, for several years as a quality engineer. I now work in the tech sector. I analyze business data to assess risk specifically. And as I look at the data behind this decision, I'm just very confused. So first of all, let's talk about what was presented last week. The data, the analysis that Trent did is basically the same thing that I did in the parent report. The only difference is I looked at a 10-year period in order to get more data for a better sample. What Trent's analysis did is, if you look at enrollment data, it ebbs and flows through the years, right? Through the 90s, early 2000s, there's little dips, there's bumps up, but there's this overall kind of upward trend. Since 2020, we've seen this little dip. That dip is not statistically any different than previous dips that we've seen. We have no reason to think that this trend is going to continue. It may, but we have no reason to think and plan according to that. What Trent's analysis does, every calculation, every assumption that he makes comes from sampling that 4-year period since COVID, 2020 through 2024, and it basically looks at, does this trend, it assumes this trend's going to either continue at the same rate or at least stay level. The data does not support that kind of assumption. So that would make sense to me if there were some massive cost benefit that we were looking at, and there was a huge upside. If you do a cost benefit analysis, this is where I'm really confused. The benefit, is you might save a couple million a year, and I think that's dubious. If you look at all the things that the parents put together, there's going to be lots of transition costs, busing. Yes, you might save some, but I think the benefit isn't as high as what it's being made to sound like it is. The potential costs are massive. Say you get this wrong, and all of these developments that we've been talking about do bring in families. Trend's analysis, doesn't hold, and we actually do see trends start to stabilize, which if you look at the Weber County birth rates, they are actually stabilizing. That was in Trend's data. If we see that, making the assumption that that's going to continue and you get that wrong, you then have to build a new school, and you've already got constituents that are upset about money, taxation. You're going to be asking for more money for another school. It just doesn't make sense. As a business professional, I would not advise the people that I'm working for to make this decision. So thank you for the time. Keep Lomond View open. It's a school where education is working. Thanks.
Riley, 1 second. After Riley, Rampton, Dottie Rampton, and then Dallin Amber, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Riley Rampton, and I am from Pleasant View, and my children attend Lomond View Elementary. Thanks for your service in making this decision. We all trust you, and then we'll make the best decision for our children. I stand before you tonight not as a disgruntled neighbor, but as a devoted member of our community that Lomond View has helped build for decades. I understand the reality of budget cuts and the concern for over-enrollment numbers. However, I am here to challenge the idea that closing this school is a solution. When you close Lomond View, you don't just consolidate desks, you decimate a foundation of our community's success. My opinion is simple. Lomond View's value far outweighs any perceived savings. The board sees low enrollment, but we see high performance. Lomond View is not just an elementary school, it is a top performing school. Our smaller setting allows for the focused attention that drives success. To close Lomond View is to replace proven academic excellence with an uncertainty of crowding, potentially risking the very performance metrics you aim to uphold. Lomond View is an asset, not a liability, to this district's academic reputation. This academic excellence, however, is only one part of Lomond View's essential contribution. Let's look beyond the ledger and the classroom walls. Lomond View is more than just a school building. It is an unquestioned heart of our neighborhood. For generations, this school has been the first shared memory, the first shared experience for every resident who grew up here. The building is also used multiple nights a week as a site of local and youth recreational programs. We cannot afford to tear this anchor out of our community. Lomond View is the reason many families choose to live here, and its closure will undoubtedly erode property values and the very definition of this neighborhood. The board has the chance to preserve not just a building, but the soul and continuity of this community. Board members, we are asking you to recognize the full cost of closing Lomond View. It's not just a facility decision, it's a decision to sacrifice proven educational success and dismantle the core of our community. Do not trade stability and excellence for uncertain savings. We urge you to delay your decision to close Lomond View until more data has been collected and carefully deliberated. Please explore alternative solutions rather than rashly shutting down a top-performing school with a vibrant community. Thank you.
Thank you, Riley. Dottie Rampton and Dallin Andrew, and then Brian Andrew.
My name is Dottie Rampton, and I'm in 3rd grade at Lomond View Elementary. One of my favorite things about Lomond View is the small reading groups. They are a perfect fit for me. The books are right on my level, and I enjoy all of the different books we read. Mrs. Wintle lets us do fun online research and Google sites on our Chromebooks that go along with what we're reading. I love all of my teachers at Lomond View. Miss Allred is also a really good counselor and helps me when I need it. One of my favorite things about Lomond View is art with Mrs. Reese. I love all the art projects she has us do. I love going to school at Lomond View. Please keep my school open. Thank you.
Dell Andrew, Brighton Andrew, Blair Andrew.
Good evening. My name's Dallin Andrew, and I'm here as a parent and neighbor from Pleasant View, just up the street. I have had 2 kids go through Lomond View Elementary already, and 2 more are attending now. They're all lining up over here. They're here to speak tonight, as well as I am, about how Lomond View has impacted their lives and their education for good. So, as a parent with a very vested interest, I'm here to ask sincerely that we just pause, as you know, even Dottie just spoke, before closing Lomond View Elementary. Let's take a little more time. Let's hold off until we understand the full picture. I think Justin laid out, as a fellow engineer, a lot of the fiscal responsibility and the data that makes sense for holding off and making sure that we're using the right data. Lomond View isn't just another school. It's a success story. One of the top 10% in the state, and based off of the 2025 RISE scores in math and science, you know, the top elementary in the district. Strong academics, engaged teachers, and families who show up and care deeply. And it stands out for all the right reasons. And that's something that we should be learning from and not losing. And the numbers make that even clearer. You know, costing $10 million to upgrade and retrofit Lomond View versus building a new school. You know, there's less than half the cost to preserve what already exists and what already works. And like has already been said, there's so many unknowns. Pleasant View is growing, boundaries are shifting. You know, they've done the boundary study. The district's still studying bus routes, long-term funding. And making that permanent closure decision now really could close a door that we might wish we kept it open. So let's take a step back, you know, get the full data-driven plan, you know, focus possibly on a bond that's focused on maintenance and repair. And, you know, I would imagine you'd have the backing of, you know, this community that's here tonight. You know, Lomond View represents what's best about public education. The families, the stability for the kids, the academics. So let's not lose all that goodness in a rush to try to fix something else. So please hold off. Let's do our due diligence on this and make sure we get this right. Thanks.
Brighton Andrew, Blair Andrew, and Devery Lauer.
Hi, my name is Brighton, and I'm 10 years old. I go to Lomond View Elementary. I've gone to Lomond View my whole life, and it feels like my second home. The teachers really care about me. They don't just help me with schoolwork, they help me be a better person too. The teachers at Lomond View do more than teach. When I do well, they cheer me on. When I make mistakes, they help me learn from them instead of just getting mad. That makes me feel safe and helps me try my best. We also have something called Leader in Me. It's taught me how to set goals, be responsible, and think about how my choices affect others. Those are things that will help me for the rest of my life. Lomond View isn't just a school, it's a family. My teachers, friends, and all the parents work together to make it a happy place where people can grow and feel supported. If Lomond View closes, it's just not the building we'd close. It's the people, my friends, the kindness, and the spirit that makes it special. I hope you'll keep Lomond View open so more kids can have the same great experiences I've had. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Blair Andrew, and I'm an 8th grader who went to Lomond View. I moved here in 2nd grade, and it was really hard for me at first. I struggled with anxiety and school refusal. There were days I just couldn't make myself go to school. I probably should have had a 504 plan, but I didn't end up needing one because my teachers and the staff at Lomond View took care of me in ways that made all the difference. They noticed when I was struggling, they gave me space when I needed it, and they made school a place where I felt safe and comfortable. Because of that, I started enjoying learning again. I started making friends and feeling confident in myself. By the time I left Lomond View, I wasn't the same kid who walked in crying on the first day. I was thriving both socially and academically. Now I'm in accelerated math, and I'm also a competitive gymnast. I honestly don't think I'd be where I am today without Lomond View. The teachers and staff helped me become the best version of myself. It's not just a school, it's a community that changes lives. Please don't close it. Thank you.
Devery Lauder, Danielle Hawley, and Curtis Carrigan.
Yeah, you got it. Good job. My name is Devery Lauder. I live in Pleasant View. I'm the proud parent of 3 children currently attending Lomond View, with my 4th joining them in the fall of 2028. Tonight, I want to speak on behalf of a group of children who can often be overlooked due to their academic success, that they don't qualify for an IEP or behavior plan, yet still struggle in the classroom and need accommodations that aren't always available to them. At Lomond View, our incredible faculty and staff see these children. They know them by name. They help them become their very best selves, building confidence and resilience despite the daily challenges they face. This does not happen by accident. It's the result of the culture Dr. Watson and the dedicated teachers and staff have created here. At Lomond View, teachers truly know our kids and love them like their own by meeting them where they're at and helping them achieve their full potential. I feel qualified to be speaking on this in this area because one of those children who excels academically but struggles behaviorally is my son Ezra. He has struggled since kindergarten, and now in 2nd grade. We're still on that journey together. But every step of the way, Dr. Watson and his teachers at Lomond View have been by our side in constant communication with us, helping us find ways for him to feel happy and safe at school. Another teacher, not even his current one, nor one he's ever had, recently reached out to express concern for Ezra simply because they know our family and genuinely care about his success. That level of connection is rare, and it's only possible in schools where every child is truly known. A friend of mine has a son very much like Ezra, excelling academically but struggles with appropriate classroom behavior. Yet their experience at another school in our district has been the complete opposite, feeling no support from teachers or administration, and like her son is a problem they don't want to deal with. That contrast shows exactly why Lomond View matters so much. What's been built here is extraordinary, and it simply cannot be replaced. Last week, I received a phone call that Ezra had been hurt during PE. When I arrived, he was sitting between both 2nd grade teachers, being loved, comforted, and cared for until I could get there. In that moment, I believe the reaction from the teachers and staff at Lomond View made what was a terrible event a lot better for my son, because he was surrounded by adults that truly loved him and that he has developed relationships with. And in his words, he felt loved and cared for. I kept thinking, this kind of love and care sets Lomond View apart and probably does not happen at every school in our district. Someone I deeply admire with connections to this school later echoed the same thought, reminding me that my experience is one of many in which our students are taken care of and loved beyond the expectation. Lomond View is more than a school, it is our family. And what we have here is something truly special, something that cannot be replicated. I urge you to consider my experience along with all the data that has been provided to you about the success of Lomond View when making your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle Hawley, Curtis Kerrigan, Letty Andrew.
Hi, my name is Danielle Hawley, and I have 2 boys thriving at Lomond View. As someone who is focused on financials and the district financials and their decisions that have brought us to this point, I'd like to present a perspective that aligns education with the way we view businesses and their products. Because in many ways, schools are indeed products, and our children are the customers we serve. In the business world, a company's most valuable asset is often its best performing product. It's the product that generates the most value, the one that keeps customers returning, and the one that drives positive reputation and sustainable growth. We all know that if a company were to cut its most successful product, it would not only lose its competitive edge, but would also risk losing customers who might look elsewhere for value. By that same logic, closing our district's top performing elementary school is equivalent to a company deciding to eliminate its highest performing product. Lomond View has demonstrated excellence in student achievement, fostering a strong academic reputation, and providing an environment where students thrive. This school is not just a building, it's a brand, one that reflects the values and aspirations of our entire community. It attracts families who value education and who have invested in this school as a critical part of their children's futures. The school's success is not a fluke. It's the result of hard work, dedicated educators, and a community that believes in its potential. If we look at education as a business, then we must recognize that maintaining and nurturing our best performing products, our best schools, is an investment. Closing a school like Lomond View would not just hurt the students who attend it, but it would send a message that excellence in education is disposable and that the quality of our product no longer matters. How will we as a community continue to attract businesses, families, and investment if we no longer prioritize educational excellence? In any business, innovation and adaptation are key. Closing a high-performing school is not an innovative solution. It is a step backward. Let us utilize what is working with Lomond View on our other schools. We need to find ways to keep our best products and to think creatively about how to meet our financial needs without sacrificing quality. Let's come together as a community to explore alternative ways to address our financial challenges without dismantling the very things that make our district a competitor with other alternative education solutions. We need to invest in our schools, not abandon them, and lose even more students to alternative education options. Gradual phase-in plans, better use of existing facilities, a comprehensive facilities bond, a broader boundary study that will help keep all students in our cone, and specific grants that other districts have successfully used to fund required building retrofits are just a few options that the board should sit down and deeply review prior to making such a rash decision that could very well likely lose its customers. I'll leave you with this question to ponder. If you are willing to close your top performing elementary school, then what exactly is your motive in your position as a board member of our school district? Thank you.
My name is Curtis Kerrigan. I'm Superintendent of the School Board and District Representatives. I represent myself and my two children who currently attend Lomond View. My son actually gave the robotics tour the other morning that some of you may have attended. I have been a part of public education for a long time. My parents were both school teachers. They started their teaching careers in Weber County school districts. My father went on. I ended up having both of my parents as teachers in Morgan County. I worked for the school district in Morgan County for many years after I graduated to help fund my own education through school. When I got my job up in Brigham City, we looked at moving up there. But one of the reasons why we chose here was because of the community here. I have learned so much about this community and also the difficult jobs that you have. We are seeing as the faith in public schools is decreasing, as more money is moving towards charter schools, you are in a more difficult position. You have to raise and have truth of taxations just to keep your current budget. We know it's really hard. We know that some of the things that you have, you may not have been the cause of, but you've inherited as members of the school board, and we ask you, maybe we should pause for a moment. If the numbers do decrease at Orchard Springs and North Ogden, maybe all of the students attending attending Lomond View at this time could move together as a core, and maybe the teachers could move with them, solidifying and keeping some of that structure that we have here, some of those relationships that we've made. Could we keep some of that? I believe in public education. We've also seen that with the Utah Fits All Scholarship that's continuing to take money out of public education into other places. This is hard. We also recognize that currently you're studying the dual language Currently, between North Ogden, Pleasant View, and Orchard Springs, 73 students are involved. That's as many as will speak tonight. Those students, if the DLI program was closed and Lomond View was closed, we would need to bring additional facilities to this district, to this area. Please consider, maybe we should wait. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Letty. I am a second grader at Lomond View. I love this school. Please don't close it. Something that helps me at this school is teach me how to be a good student and not to hurt others, not to throw fits and to calm down at the school. I know my teachers and help us love me. Thank you.
Sean Hawley, Sarah Gillens, and Michelle Jeffs.
Good evening, all. My name is Sean Hawley, and I'm a father of 2 boys at Lomond View Elementary. I understand that the district is currently exploring ways to reduce costs. However, based on performing this study, it appears the only method being proposed is closing our top performing school. I would be more understanding of this recommendation if the data clearly supported this as the best overall solution after all relevant factors have thoroughly been considered. One major concern with this current study is that it does not include a comprehensive boundary analysis, particularly one that accounts for middle school boundaries as well. The proposed adjustments focus on just 3 elementary schools. Under the current plan, a quarter of the students would be reassigned to a different elementary school, separating them from many, if not most, of their current friends. In just a few years, these same students would then transition to a different middle school than their new peers, since middle school boundaries were not considered as part of the study. Research consistently shows that frequent school transitions can have negative effects on young students' mental health, social development, and academic performance. Studies from organizations such as the American Psychological Association and the National Institutes of Health have found that moving schools can increase anxiety, feelings of isolation, and difficulty forming stable peer relationships. These disruptions can hinder a child's sense of belonging and directly impact their academic outcomes. For many students, stability in their learning environment is a key factor in both emotional well-being and long-term success. Before making a decision as significant as closing one of our district's top-performing schools, I strongly urge the district to do a more comprehensive and inclusive boundary study, one that fully considers all schools in the district, the long-term educational, social, and emotional impacts on our students and our community. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Sarah Gillens, Michelle Jeffs, and Santa Jeffs.
Hello, board members. My name is Sarah Gillens. I'm a Pleasant View resident, and I'm here representing myself and my husband and my 3 kids. I'm a Lomond View 6th grader, 1st grader, and hopefully a very eager future kindergartner. When I got married, I gained an uncle, Brent Richardson, who served on the board for many years. Above the boardroom doors, you can find his name and the words, "Children always come first." Because I knew Uncle Brent, I know that you have good intentions and care deeply about children and the quality of their education. Over the past few months, I've gained a real appreciation for how complicated your job is, balancing financial realities, new safety mandates, maintenance needs, and taxpayer concerns. I know you're under a lot of pressure. I hope you also feel a little pressure from us to do what's best for our children. Please don't try to fix what's not broken. From an educational perspective, Lomond View functions extremely well. My 6th grader, who was deeply impacted by the pandemic, has been reading at a post-high school level for years now. She's won first place STEM Olympiad prizes, grown in confidence through choir solos and rec basketball, and developed responsibility and resilience thanks to the systems and teachers at Lomond View. My 1st grader has been reading fluently since kindergarten and is currently devouring Harry Potter. The way he decodes unfamiliar words and finds meaning from context constantly amazes me. I have family and friends who chose homeschooling because their children, whether advanced or struggling, weren't receiving the right support in other schools. That has not been our experience at Lomond View. Teachers, staff, and parent volunteers here are masters at meeting children where they are at and helping them reach higher. The students here are thriving. They feel known, loved, and challenged, not like just another number in a sea of faces. What matters most to these kids isn't a shiny new building, it's belonging to a community that helps them blossom. Instead of dismantling a school that is working beautifully and that strengthens Weaver School District's competitiveness, learn from its success. Maintenance and funding issues can be solved, but you can't easily replace a complex, effective community learning environment that has been decades in the making. We believe closing Lomond View will cause harm without benefit. Research on school closures makes that clear. With so much growth projected in Pleasant View and surrounding communities, it would be short-sighted to remove a functioning school when future enrollment may very well rise again. I urge you to be prudent and patient, address other district challenges first, and then determine with data and reflection whether sacrificing a strong school community is truly necessary. Some have speculated that the decision was made already. I choose to believe otherwise. I hope that you will make a thoughtful, careful, and child-centered decision, because after all, this is a district where children come first. Thank you.
Michelle Jeffs, Sam Jeffs, Tiffany Passel.
Good evening, Superintendency and School Board. My name is Michelle Jeffs, and I live in Pleasant View, and I have 3 Lomond View boys and a 3-year-old girl. Thank you for being here at our school tonight. Thank you for listening to us. I have been thinking a lot about the importance of community and relationships, about the importance of connections that get built here. I've also been thinking about hardship and the difficulties that come with life. As a former prosecutor, I know firsthand that Pleasant View has its share of child sex abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, and yes, even in wealthier demographics, children can suffer from emotional and other types of neglect. Immediately before coming here, I had a group of 15 kids over at my house running around my yard. Some of them have suffered immense hardship over the last couple of years, because kids at Lomond View are not immune from hardship. Some have suffered the pain through death of parents, siblings, and friends. Some have experienced cancer or heart problems, other serious illnesses for themselves or close family members. This community has experienced the pain of suicide from family members. Kids here have experienced parents' divorce, instability, and the fear that that can bring. They've experienced debilitating anxiety, as you've heard from some today. They've suffered through the difficulty of having parents and siblings and friends go through mental illness. Pleasant View is a wonderful place, but no family or community is truly immune from hardship and trauma. Now, clearly, we have many advantages here in this community, and we are so grateful for those. Those advantages have certainly helped make Lomond View what it is. But Lomond View is also what it is because of 70 years of people investing in it and creating a culture of belonging and excellence. The age of the school can certainly be looked at as a liability in terms of infrastructure, but the age of our school is also an asset. Its culture of excellence and belonging come from decades of hard work by invested people, including people who now work for the district, and many parents whose kids or grandkids now attend Lomond View. Lomond View provides a place of immense stability, love, and growth for our kids. Now, some of those benefits are quantifiable, like RISE scores, and those quantifiable educational benefits do matter to us as parents. We want our children to be well educated, and we feel confident that's happening at Lomond View. But a lot of what we love about Lomond View is qualitative, and it's hard to measure and even to explain. But we love this school, and generations of people have invested in it to make it what it is, And I'd argue that despite an aging building, Lomond View as a school is better now than it has ever been. The building is old and some infrastructure needs investment, but it is an investment, not a drain on resources for a school like Lomond View. Please preserve this community that provides such strength to our children. The world is hard enough without losing a precious resource like Lomond View.
Sam Jeffs, Tiffany Passel, and Lisa Johnson.
Dear school board, thank you for your time. My name is Sam Jeffs, and I'm a third grader at Lomond. I wanted to speak at the first board meeting, but my mom made me wait until this meeting. I really love my school. Well, last year, the running club had goals for how far we could run. The highest goal was 50 miles. At first, I didn't think that I could do it, but then Brianne and other people helped inspire me. I was able to meet my goal, and I learned that I could push through hard things and get better. Lomond View has the best running club, and I love running with my friends there. I also love that Brianne teaches us good things. She taught us that a boat is safe sitting in the harbor, but that's not what it's meant to do. She told us we won't feel pain if we stay in our comfort zone, but we won't get any better. I also love small reading groups where we read harder books and learn together. They helped me learn that I could read hard books by myself. I went from reading easy readers to full chapter books, easy peasy. I'm grateful for the volunteers that help out so we can read and learn together. I love my teachers. In first grade, I got really bored in math because it seemed easy, and I started driving my teacher crazy. Sometimes I was a little mean, but she still helped and loved me. She helped me by giving me harder math and even letting me go to math games in second grade if I behaved. Last year I got to watch my brother do robotics, and I really want to do robotics when I get to fourth grade too. I love Lomond View so much. On a scale of 1 to 10, Lomond View is definitely 10. Please, please, please keep it open, and thank you.
Lisa Johnson and Lindsay Kerrigan.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Passo, and I'm a resident of Pleasant View, and my two sons attend Lomond View. It is my privilege to be here surrounded by this amazing community and speak with you again tonight. As you may remember, when I spoke at the meeting in October, I am proud to say that my two boys are third generation Lomond View Lions and sixth generation Pleasant View residents. So, what I would like to highlight tonight is that our family legacy is not unique in this amazing community. Countless families across generations have chosen to either stay in Pleasant View to raise their families or have chosen to come back to Pleasant View when they reach that stage of their life. And Lomond View's legacy of proven academic excellence, strong school community, and inclusion have been a key factor in this decision for multiple generations. To emphasize this point, I would like to take a moment of my time to respectfully ask anyone who is a past, present, or hopefully future Lion, whether you're a student, educator, or staff, to stand or raise your hand. Thank you. As the board can see, this room is full of Lions. We are a community worth fighting for and worth keeping. Others tonight have and will share specific data-driven reasons why Lomond View is not the right school to study for closure and is instead worth emulating. My hope is that our community can show you that our school is worth keeping open. My ask of you, Madam Superintendent Butters, President Witterson, Vice President Hurst, Mr. Georgine is not here, Ms. Christensen, Ms. Burrell, Ms. Larson, and Mr. Williams and Mr. Mitchell, is to vote no to the closure of Lomond View on December 3rd. Your vote may be because you are fully convinced, like we are, that this school and community are worth saving, or it may be because you acknowledge that there are too many unknowns, and additional data is needed to make a fiscally sound and wise decision that won't lead to long-term, far-reaching consequences for all parties involved in the future. Please show us each of you see us, hear us, and you've got us, because this school and community are worth keeping and we belong at Lomond View. Thank you.
Lisa Johnson, Linda Kerrigan, Luke and Sadie Kerrigan.
My name is Lisa Johnson. All 5 of my children attended Lomond View, and 3 of my grandchildren currently attend Lomond View. I've lived in Pleasant View for more than 30 years, and one of the reasons my family chose to move here was because of Lomond View. Even decades ago, Lomond View was known as a very great school, and as someone who values education deeply, I wanted my children to have the best possible start in those early foundational years. My children love Lomond View, my grandchildren love Lomond View, and I love Lomond View. I understand how important it is for children to have caring, consistent adults in their lives. For both my children and my grandchildren, Lomond View has been a place where learning is joyful, where they have truly felt known and cared for by their teachers, staff, and volunteers. There are great schools in Lomond View, or within the school district, but Lomond View has provided that something special for each of my children and for my grandchildren, and we are grateful for that. Recent research, as well as what I see personally, shows that children today face increasing challenges with behavior, anxiety, and mental health. Research also shows that children that suffer from those get lost in large schools, that they fall through the cracks. We cannot allow that to happen to these children. As a parent and a grandparent, I worry not only about my children and grandchildren, but for the grandchildren in this community. Studies consistently show that a positive, supportive school environment, one where students feel a sense of belonging, connection, and meaningful relationships with teachers and peers, can significantly reduce those risks. In today's world, we need to do everything we can to reduce those risks for these kids. Lomond View provides that environment. It is a small, nurturing school. It is small, but those children feel connected here, and they are proud to be part of this community. My children are proud to be Lomond View Lions. They have strong teachers, strong friendships, and trusting relationships. From my experience, I believe that such a change of closing Lomond View could impact their emotional well-being and their sense of stability, especially in a time, please allow Lomond View to stay mighty. It has a winning combination. Thank you.
Lindsay Kerrigan, Luke and Sadie Kerrigan, and Isaac Jeffs.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. I'm Lindsay Kerrigan, here tonight as a concerned member of the Pleasant View community. As my husband mentioned, he and I were both raised in homes of educators. We grew up believing that public education was more than a system. It was the foundation of a successful society. As parents, we trusted that if we supported our children's education in public schools, they would thrive. So we did. We invested our time and our energy, not just in our own children, but in others, volunteering in classrooms, organizing school-wide events, and showing up. But today, that cultural faith in public education is eroding. I don't envy your position, in a time when charter schools and homeschooling are pulling students and funding away from public ed. It's ironic, though, that some of the loudest voices for closing schools come from families that don't rely on public schools themselves. So while public education doesn't fit their children, it's okay to stack them deep and serve them cheap for other children under the banner of fiscal responsibility. That might work for pancakes at IHOP, but I don't think it works for students in schools. School size plays a critical role. Modern research shows that smaller elementary schools, between 200 and 500 students, create more effective and equitable learning environments. These schools amplify the benefits of reduced class sizes, improving literacy and math outcomes, especially for young or underserved children. And they also nurture deeper relationships among students, teachers, and families. Isn't that the educational experience we want? Here's the reality. Nearly half of the district schools, students attend schools that have been flagged for potential seismic deficiencies. Capital needs over the next 5 years are projected at $80 million, plus an aging bus fleet. Yet the most recent bonds serve fewer than 10% of students. That's like throwing a classroom pizza party and only ordering one slice of pizza. The issue tonight isn't just about Lomond View. Its closing is a drop in the financial bucket and comes with risk. We understand enrollment is changing, infrastructure is aging, and finances are tight. Changes are necessary. We want fiscal responsibility too, but not at the expense of student success. So take a step back and look at the big picture. Prioritize student outcomes. Make public ed appealing to families. Pass a bond for the other 90% of students, one that addresses safety, equity, and infrastructure. Replace aging roofs. Install new playgrounds. Upgrade outdated systems. Implement safety mandates. Make every school a place where students feel safe, connected, and inspired to learn. Thank you.
My name is Luke Kerrigan, and I live in Pleasant View, and I'm a student at Lomond View. When I found out our school might close, it made me sad, because this place means everything to us. Lomond View isn't just a building, it's a community. It's a place where teachers know our names, where our friends feel like family, and where we've built memories that will stay with us forever. Our teachers don't just teach us subjects, they teach us to believe in ourselves, to work hard, and to never give up. We have programs that make our school special, like our robotics program, where we learn teamwork and problem solving while building things we're proud of. Our choir, where we learn to express ourselves and come together through music. And our running club, where we learn about perseverance and supporting each other. Plus our science club, where we learn through fun experiments. These activities help us grow in ways that go far beyond the classroom. If our school closes, we won't just lose a place to learn. We'll lose the people and programs that make learning exciting. We'll lose teachers who understand how we learn best, clubs that inspire us, and a community that makes us feel safe and supported. Some of us might have to attend different schools, and it won't be the same. Please think about what this school means to the students who are standing here today. We're proud of Lomond View. It's more than just a school. It's our home, our team, and our family. I hope you'll remember our faces and our voices when you make your decision. Please keep Lomond View open. We still have so much more to learn, create, and share here. Thank you.
Isaac Jeffs, Matt Jeffs, Colin Isaacson.
I'm Isaac Jeffs. Thank you, school board, for listening to us tonight. My name is Isaac Jeffs, and I'm a 5th grader at Lomond View. I'm in the robotics club, running club, science club, and choir. I love being involved with so much, and I really want to stay at Lomond View next year for 6th grade. We work really hard on robotics and have a lot of fun. Sometimes we even practice every day, and as we get ready for competitions, but it's worth it. Our coaches work even harder than us. Last year we made the goal to get to Worlds. When we get on to Worlds, our robot wasn't working like we thought. When we were really stressed and worried. Our coach Aaron helped us understand what we needed to do and encouraged us to work as a team. We ended up having so much fun at Worlds, and it was amazing to be able to see and talk to people from different countries. I am grateful that my coaches in Lomond View were for supporting us. Running club also pushes me to always get better and to have perseverance. This year I'm working to get my 100-mile token and by the end of running club. I figured out that I needed to run 4 miles a week to get there. Everyone is so encouraging and I love running with my friends. I also like the Lomond View as a Leader in Me school. Through Leader in Me, I learn things and that help me with my family and friends, like think win-win, which means to try to compromise. I love Lomond View so much and feel very happy at school every day. I have amazing friends, and I'm really sad that if it closes, my friends would go to a different school. I would be devastated. Please, I love Lomond View and I really want to go again. Please keep it open. Please. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Matt Jeffs, and I'm a citizen here at Pleasant View, speaking for myself as a member of the community, a taxpayer, and a father of 3 kids here at Lomond View. As a business professional, I understand the need to make decisions based off sound data, and I appreciate and I'm grateful for the efforts the board and the district are making to make this decision based off sound data. In that vein, I'd like to contribute a few data points as well for your consideration. This data comes from research at numerous diverse institutions showing the impact on student achievement when closing schools can either be positive or negative depending on the schools closed. So here's a small selection of some of that research. First, the consortium on Chicago school research shows that academic gains occur only when displaced students from a closure attend substantially stronger schools. Otherwise, they saw no improvement in their academic success or declines. The Fordham Institute showed that students who moved to schools in the top quartile in their district improved. Those reassigned to similar or weaker schools declined. The Urban Institute showed that students experienced short-term losses in achievements due to any movement, but with there were gains seen when the new schools were notably higher performing. The National Bureau of Economic Research shows that benefits were tied directly to the performance gap between schools. If they moved to a lower performing school, the students also performed lower. It did not stay static, it did not increase, they performed worse. We cannot move students around and expect them to perform the same. However, if you move students from a lower performing school to a higher performing school, their scores do increase. As a taxpayer, what I care about when I look at my tax dollars being used for education is not the newest buildings. What I care about is the education produced from that tax money. And if we want to have our tax dollars go towards the best results, they should go towards improving student outcomes. When we consider what schools we should be closing, we should be always looking to move students from schools that are struggling to schools that are doing better. I don't think that is simple. This is not my opinion simply because Lomond View is my school. I care about that for all the schools, for all the decisions ahead in your future, for looking at school closures, because I know this is probably not an issue that's going to go away. Please consider to always be moving students to a better performing school. Please bring more students to Lomond View, not less. That's my plea. Thank you so much.
Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Butters. My name is Shalyn Isaacson. I live in Pleasant View, and I am the mother of 3 boys. 2 of my boys are Lomond View boys. I'm speaking for myself, but not just as a parent. also as a registered nurse with additional training in childhood trauma and mental health. I have seen the difference firsthand between children who feel safe and children who do not. Lomond View is a place where my children feel safe every single day, and I feel completely confident dropping them off every morning. In a world where school violence dominates the news, the safety cannot be measured in budgets or spreadsheets. It is priceless. At Lomond View, my children are truly known. Teachers know their names, staff notice when something is wrong, and friends lift each other up. Children grow confident, curious, and kind, learning courage, empathy, and leadership along the way. I have also seen the opposite. Both professionally and personally, I've seen the effects of stress on children. In the medical field, I've watched kids become frozen in fight or flight, scared and unable to accept help. And in my own life, I saw my oldest son struggle in a high-capacity school where he was bullied, overlooked, and left to cope alone. Lomond View became the place that healed that fear for our family, the place where my younger sons could thrive emotionally and academically. Please, I beg of you, do not send us back. Do not remove our safety net. The community has relentlessly presented you with data, academic scores, enrollment projections, community investment, showing without a doubt that closing Lomond View is not the answer. There are better alternatives, updating facilities, adjusting boundaries, investing in a school that already succeeds. These solutions are realistic, responsible, and backed by factual data. I also want to acknowledge the Utah State Board of Education, who has reminded you, and the law also requires, that before closing a school, you must not consider just budgets, but also the community impact. This includes the well-being, safety, and stability of the children that you serve. The public has spoken. Families, students, and neighbors have made their voices heard clearly, respectfully, and repeatedly. When you cast that vote on December 3rd, it will be remembered, not just by us, but by the children whose lives are on the line. Vote what we have asked of you. Do not close Lomond View Elementary. Closing Lomond View would take away recreation, it would take away safety, it would take away stability, it would take away belonging. These are not numbers on a page, they are lives, hearts, and futures. Protect the children, preserve the community. Honor your responsibility to your constituents and to the law. Lomond View is a place where children feel safe, supported, and capable of becoming their best selves. It is a standard worth protecting. Thank you.
Eric Isaacson, Barbara Schaefer-Meyer, Emily Hall.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Isaacson. I have two Lomond View boys, one former Lomond View boy and one current. First of all, I just want to acknowledge the board and everybody here and thank you for the work that you do, including the very difficult things you have to do, like considering what you're considering tonight. The good news that I have for you is you have an easy decision to make tonight, an easy choice, and that's to not close this school. The community, and some of you are well aware, has been very involved in analyzing the data, the endpoints, the pros, the cons, the alternatives to closing Lomond View. And the decision is clear. Don't close Lomond View. There are so many better options. Right here in this very place, our children are taught that good decisions come from considering all the facts, weighing the pros and cons, and choosing the best path forward. That's exactly what we're asking you to do here tonight. And the best decision, again, is obvious. It's to keep this school open. I encourage you to remember why you're here, to take a wider view, to see more than a building and a plot of land and financial statements, to acknowledge, appreciate, and be proud of this school and everybody who makes it up. You still have a chance to actually listen, search your souls, and truly understand why this community is so passionate about this school. You still have the chance tonight and in the ensuing weeks to make the only logical, defensible, and responsible choice, the right choice, to not close Lomond View. Thank you.
Barbara Schaefer-Meyer, Emily Hall, Hadley Hall.
Board members, superintendent, thank you for being here and listening. My name is Barbara Schaefer-Meyer. I have 5 children who have attended Lomond View or are currently there. I'm here tonight as a parent, taxpayer, and advocate for keeping our top-ranked elementary school open. Our family is homeschooled. We've done charter schools, dual enrollment. We have special needs, gifted, and average children. I have high expectations for education for my children and understand the need to meet each child where they are, and Lomond View has lived up to those expectations. This school isn't just another building, it's the heart of our neighborhood. It's where students feel seen, supported, and safe. It's the #1 elementary school in the district because of the people inside these walls, teachers, staff, and families who care deeply about our kids and each other. It's a second home and a second family. For my family, that care made all the difference. My older child, who is on the autism spectrum, thrived at Lomond View. In the smaller, close-knit environment, teachers knew him, not just by name, but by heart. They understood what helped him learn, what built confidence, and what made him feel capable. I can tell you from experience, this is impossible in a large, overcrowded school. To close this incredible school and move our children into a new one, which will then be near max capacity, is short-sighted. Populations ebb and flow with time. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the neighborhoods around Lomond View have a large majority of aging and elderly. Every time one of these small homes goes on the market, those of us who live here have noticed a trend. A young family moves in. I can think of at least 5 families off the top of my head just east of the school that have preschool-age children who are excited to attend Lomond View. Most of these families chose their homes because of Lomond View. With younger families buying the old homes and the new housing developments that have already been approved, the enrollment will grow. There are 14 schools in Weber School District that are just a few years younger than Lomond View. You cannot close them all. Repairing the school will be far cheaper than building new in a few years, when Orchard Springs is bursting at the seams. The estimated $3 to $10 million in upgrades is far less than the $42 million for a new build. That's not fiscal responsibility, that's unnecessary loss. Please put the brakes on. Pause on this decision and factor in all the Weber-Cone elementary schools. Growth is coming. We have the chance to make a decision that reflects both wisdom and heart. Let's invest in what works. Let's protect a school that's already successful, beloved, and changing lives. Our children deserve a community school that knows them. Our families deserve stability. And our taxpayers deserve leaders who spend wisely and care deeply. Please keep Lomond View open. Let it continue to be the heart of the community for generations to come. Thank you.
Emily Hall, Hadley Hall, and Katie Hill.
Good evening, Superintendent Butters, board members, community members, and guests. My name is Emily Hall. I live in Pleasant View. I'm a taxpayer and a parent of students at Weber Orion, and this is my one at Lomond View. Throughout this process, we've been told repeatedly that this is just a study, an opportunity to gather information, yet in reality, it is a study that will culminate in a major decision. And it's one that will profoundly affect 417 students, more than 50 staff members, and an entire community. One significant weakness in the study so far is the lack of clear financial data regarding the long-term costs to maintain Lomond View. The only information shared thus far publicly has been a range of projected repair costs that anywhere from $8.7 million to nearly $19.7 million. That is an $11 million delta. Moreover, many of the listed expenses are enhancements, not necessities for keeping the school functional. It's difficult to understand how an informed and responsible vote can take place when the available financial data is so broad and imprecise. A decision of this magnitude, especially one that could result in closing a school, deserves specific, transparent data identifying what Lomond View truly needs to remain operational, separate from what might simply be desirable improvements. Sound decision-making requires sound information. I urge the district to present a clear itemized breakdown showing exactly what repairs are essential and to provide a far more precise estimate of the associated costs. A project of this scale should not proceed based on an 8 to 20 million approximation. Accuracy and fiscal responsibility must come first. Several business owners I've spoken with have expressed the same concern. No one would purchase or restructure a business based on an estimate with such a wide margin of error. The district should hold itself to that same standard of financial prudence and accountability. Therefore, my recommendation is to pause this study until the district can accurately determine the true cost of keeping Lomond View operational, along with a clear outline of the necessary construction work. Please do not vote to close a school before the financial details and project scope are fully understood and supported by data. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to our students and community. And I'm going to just add at the end that this is also a school that these kids come back to. My son, who was a 6th grader here last year, he and his friends were actually here to drop in and say hello to their teachers, and they ended up helping set up the gym and assist Dr. Watson today. So it's a place that these students love, and they often return to because it feels like home. Thank you so much.
Debbie Hall, Katie Hill, and Hannah Nipko.
Good evening, Superintendent Butters, board members, and community. My name is Hadley Hall, a sophomore at Weber High School, but tonight I stand before you as someone whose journey was truly shaped at Lomond View Elementary. Lomond View isn't just where I learned my ABCs, it's where the foundations of my character were built. In these classrooms, I unlocked the world of reading, formed lifelong relationships, and was lifted up by caring teachers who believed in me when I doubted myself. A story began with a nervous move in kindergarten from Riverdale Elementary. I was anxious, starting over, feared I'd be alone. When I was welcomed by a teacher who, in a twist of fate, had once been my mom's student teacher. She didn't just teach me, she made certain I belonged. Her kindness transformed what could have been a lonely transition into a joyful beginning. At Lomond View, I found my voice. Literally, I found my voice in the school choir, singing, speaking, and performing solos in the 4th and 5th grade. Gave me confidence I barely knew I had. Even when I hesitated to join choir again, the director reached out, telling me I was missed and needed. She offered me a narrator's role in the Christmas program, reigniting my passion and showing me the power of being seen and believed in. Now with my little brother Davis in 1st grade, Lomond View's impact is even clearer. Davis suffers from severe asthma and has spent frightening nights in the ER. Thanks to a small class size, just 19 students, his teacher keeps the air filter close, and Davis is healthier and happier than ever. When illness does strike, his teachers go the extra mile, catching him up and checking in. Their compassion isn't just academic, it's personal. Closing Lomond View would simply remove a building. It would unravel the bonds of a community that's woven around its students and family. This school is the heart of our neighborhood, a place where children feel safe, supported, and inspired. It's more than walls and desks, it's the hope of the future. Please consider the lives, memories, and dreams tied to this school. Investing in Lomond View means investing in children like Davis, in families like mine, and in a community that truly cares. Let's protect what makes Lomond View special and help it continue shaping students for years to come. Thank you.
Katie Hill, Hannah Nipko, and Danny Lynn.
Good evening, board. My name is Katie, and I am here for Lomond View and the community. I am a Lion. My pride may have graduated 25 years ago, but I still stay in touch with friends that I made in this very school in Miss Duval's 4th grade class. I grew up in this community. I went to college though, and I met a boy, and we traveled around for about 15 years. When his military commitment ended, and we considered many options, traveling, homeschool, private school, both that we had done before, this state and many others. Our children's safety, community, and education were top priorities that led us to move back to Pleasant View and enroll our kids in Loma View despite me working all the way in Salt Lake. We have been thrilled to see them thrive. Their uniqueness and individuality has been embraced and celebrated, and they are involved in extracurriculars like choir, science club, indoor soccer, and running club. The small school size and commitment from parent volunteers ensures that anyone who wants to participate is welcomed. Lomond View is a top-performing school. You've already heard this. It's a product of the teachers, aides, and ancillary staff that are employed by the district, as well as the countless hours of support from the parents. All parents are welcomed in whatever capacity they can contribute, and this board has seen our commitment over the last few months. Why are we here? We are here because, in part, the August Truth and Taxation meeting, where there was public outcry over the district's finances and potential increase in taxes, during which multiple recommendations were made, including a reduction in admin pay, review of vendor contracts, use of district reserves and rainy day funds, and finally, closing Lomond View. I'm concerned that the low-hanging fruit of closing Lomond View became an easy button that meant that the district didn't need to look in the mirror, consider changes to practices, or hold itself accountable, and instead could hold out a piece of cake labeled a newer facility. The truth is, we don't want cake. We want small classrooms, extracurriculars, community history, and top academic scores. If your job is to provide education, shouldn't Lomond View, as a district leader in math, science, and reading, be a school we try to replicate and not dissolve? In public meetings that I have sat through since August, in addition to highlighting the newer facility, all information provided by the district supported the closure of Lomond View without an in-depth comparison study to other suggestions put forth. I want to implore the board to stay the closure of Lomond View while the district reconsiders avenues of fiscal responsibility. Why are we holding our elementary school children responsible without exploring other options? We are trading their community, education, and security for ease of closing the district deficits. Residents are doing their homework, and my attendees have discussed many different cost discrepancies, but the one that bothers me as a nurse is that my pay raise this year was $1.20 an hour. My husband, an enlisted member of the Air National Guard with over 20 years of service, had 5.2, while Weber School District admin in 23 to 24 had 43.4% increase in their raises.
Thank you. And then Damon Lynn, Kimberly Lynn, Daxton Lynn, Bradley Lynn. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, board. Thank you for your time and for sitting through this very lengthy meeting. My name is Hannah Nipko, and I'm a Lomond View parent speaking on behalf of our community and also as a taxpayer. Tonight, I'd like to share information about some of the hidden costs that you might not be considering as closely when thinking of closing Lomond View. The financial, educational, and social impacts that don't appear in the initial savings estimate, but will meaningfully affect students and the district over time. In the district's May 30th study session, the projected savings were listed as $450,000 to $600,000 per school, mainly through reductions to administrative and support staff. These positions play important roles in keeping schools running safely and supporting students throughout the day. The district has stated that class sizes will not increase, but it's important to understand the broader context. Redistributing students would bring receiving schools to nearly 90% capacity, which is widely recognized as the point where schools lose flexibility for placement, grouping, and behavior support. Even if ratios appear the same on paper, removing aides and interventionists increases the functional load on teachers by 15 to 20% based on national consolidation research. The support structure that made those ratios manageable simply isn't there. Let's look at some of these hidden costs. Additional staffing needs, approximately $100,000 to $200,000 per year at receiving schools. Turnover and replacement, typically $250,000 to $350,000 as workloads shift and burnout increases over the first 2 years. Academic regression and remediation, $90,000 to $150,000 as research shows learning typically dips for 2 to 3 years after closures or consolidations. Counseling and behavior needs, 75,000 to 100,000, with national data showing 25 to 30% rise in referrals during student transitions. One of the most significant areas is transportation. Weaver School District operates about 170 buses, and nearly 60% are at end of life, which kept some running, and with some kept running through salvaged parts. The transportation director noted that consolidation almost always requires additional routes. Each new route costs $60,000 to $70,000 per year, and one closure could potentially require 4 to 6 new routes, adding $300,000 to $450,000 annually. That alone covers most of the projected savings. At the same time, replacing the aging fleet will require $5 million to $7.5 million per year for the next 5 years, and there is currently no funded plan for that need. Thank you for your time.
Could have hired the parents and saved a lot of money on the study. They did it all for free. My name is Dane Lynn. I'm a father of 6 with 2 at Lomond View. My family moved to this area because of Lomond View's strong academic reputation. Professionally, I've spent my entire career in operational excellence and continuous improvement, working with organizations to define, measure, and scale what works. I specialize in key performance indicators. My role is not simply about maintaining performance, but about elevating it through disciplined analysis, replication of best practices, and a mindset of continuous improvement. So I stand before you tonight as both a parent and a professional, invested in our children's future and trained to ask, when a system is functioning well, how do we replicate and amplify its success rather than shutting it down? Lomond View is the highest performing school in our district. It is not a liability, it is an asset. When I hear discussion of closing Lomond View due to maintenance concerns, I ask, are we truly honoring the district's and state's commitment to student learning first, or are we defaulting to cost-cutting decision that may undermine long-term value? Are our children our most important asset, or do you see them as a liability? State policy in Utah makes clear that public education must prepare each student departing the system for success in productive employment or further education. The recent teacher and student success provisions require each school to develop a success plan with clear goals and measurable outcomes. These aren't merely procedural check boxes. They represent the state's recognition that continuous improvement, data-driven decision-making, community involvement, and academic achievement are core at the public education system. We should not view Lomond View as expendable because of infrastructure or maintenance cost. Instead, we should view it as a living laboratory of what educational excellence looks like in our district. We should ask, what are the processes, teacher collaboration routines, leadership practices, data monitoring rhythms, culture of parent and community engagement at Lomond View that drive its strong performance? Then we should ask, how can these practices be exported, scaled, and adapted to our other schools that are underperforming? Closing our best schools sends the message that we're prioritizing short-term cost savings over long-term educational investment, which risks our region's attractiveness to families, our local economy, and the future workforce. Families often choose where to live based on school quality. If we undermine or diminish top-tier schools, we discourage future families from relocating here. That weakens our tax base, our growth potential, and ultimately our community vitality. When we invest in our schools, we are investing in the future, in students prepared for the jobs of tomorrow, and innovation. Are you playing the short game or the long game? In the world of continuous improvement, we don't scrap our best asset. We learn from it, build around it, lift the others. I'm asking this board, before making an irreversible decision, commit to a detailed analysis of Lomond View's success factors. Commit to a strategy of replication. Don't waste the opportunity to study and learn from the school that is showing you how to do it right.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Lynn. I'm a parent of 6 children, 2 who currently attend Lomond View and others who have attended in the past. Since the beginning of this study, I've heard people mention that they don't need or want emotions involved in this decision. I'm letting you know now, during my time speaking, you might hear my voice shake and you might see me cry. My tears and emotions are not a sign of weakness or a lack of intelligence. They point to my love and compassion for our most precious gifts, our children, who are among our greatest examples of fortitude and strength, and who can also be the most vulnerable among us. My entire life has been dedicated to learning how best to give children what they need for their greatest chance at success. With a degree in early childhood education, special education, and child development, I've studied at length what helps children thrive and what sets them back. Many adults like to throw around the phrase, children are resilient, but after years of working with children from all socioeconomic backgrounds, I know the truth. What happens to children in their formative years, big or small, leaves a lasting mark. Decades of research confirm that closing schools has a negative impact on students' academic achievement and well-being. A large body of evidence, including studies from the Journal of Public Economics and the American Educational Research Association, shows that displaced students experience drops in test scores, attendance, and engagement. Research from the Urban Institute also documents increased behavioral challenges and emotional stress following closures, especially when students lose trusted teachers, friends, and a sense of belonging. And a 2024 study from Ed Working Papers found that these effects can linger into high school and beyond, influencing graduation rates and future success. I understand that our district faces difficult financial realities and that a school closure may be unavoidable in the future. But closing this school, a uniquely strong and cohesive community where students consistently excel and teachers foster exceptional growth, would be a costly decision for the district and an even greater loss for our children. When a struggling school closes, it's heartbreaking, but when a successful one shuts down, it disrupts a model of excellence and stability that students desperately need right now. Please don't make me tell my children that their education, emotional well-being, and mental health must suffer because grown-ups want to save money that's a drop in the bucket compared to the cost of dismantling a thriving, high-performing school community that's already achieving what every other school in the district is trying to attain. Don't make me tell them their feelings don't count, their hard work doesn't matter, and their voices can be ignored. The words above your boardroom door say children always come first. It does not say budget comes first or taxpayers come first. It says children. Please vote no to closing this incredible, close-knit, long-standing, top-performing school, or at the very least, vote no for now. Take longer than 3 months to make a decision that will affect not only the children at Lomond View today, but will ripple through other schools, families, in this community for years to come. Please show us and our kids that children really do come first. Thank you.
I'm in 2nd grade. I'm in Miss Larson's class. I love her and what she teaches me. I love Lomond View and I want to stay in this school because I want to stay with my best friends. And I want my sister to stay at this school because she's just started kindergarten and she loves going to school. Please keep Lomond View open.
My name is Ryan. I'm in kindergarten. My teacher is Mrs. Yarson. I love her. I love my friends. I love them to this door. Please take your review. Thank you.
Heather Chubb, Anna Langston, and Luke Morrison.
Okay, well, I think if we remember last time, we all know that I'm not a public speaker, but here we are again for something that we feel passionate about. Okay, all right, so my name is Heather Chudd. We are an Air Force family, transplanted here, but specifically we sought out Lomond View because we have 4 kids and one of them has a chromosome deletion that comes with all sorts of global developmental delays. And I can tell you just from experience, just moving, I myself was an Air Force brat, so we moved a lot of times, but my kids have too. Anytime you move schools, you set back at least a year or 2 because they have to get to know new people, new teachers, new everything. And it's not, if you can avoid that, it should be avoided. But like I said, we're military, so that's just part of our lives. But okay, back to the notes. Okay. First off, I want to thank you because I know that this is, well, as far as I know, this wasn't on anyone's horizon a year ago, and it takes a lot of time, and we're all eyeball deep in this, you guys, and us parents too, and having to deal with our personalities when it's a stressful thing involved. I'm sure that you guys have encountered all sorts of things with emails and whatnot. I'm a nurse, so I deal with the public, and sometimes when things are stressful, you deal with the stressful part. But that comes in all forms, and sometimes when it feels like you're hearing but not listening. Not to borrow a Simon Garfunkel thing, but I think that's the biggest concern when we're presenting information and it's not necessarily looked at like you're like, okay, yeah, this is important, because like for instance going to the board meetings and we talk about projections of neighborhoods and whatnot. There was a slide of North Ogden and Pleasant View, but Harrisville was left off, and when I called Harrisville today, because that does play into this, because if Lomond View gets farmed out, and by the way, it's not just going to Orchard Springs, in case you guys didn't know that. It was looked at that the student body of Lomond View would go to, some of them would go to North Ogden Elementary School and some of them Orchard Springs, so it's not even keeping them all together, it would be splitting it. But that was part of the boundary study, and there's a small part that might go to North Ogden for a year or two and then go to Orion. Well, the rest of North Ogden goes to North Ogden Junior High, because the junior high wasn't studied in this 3-month study. But anyway, so back to Harrisville. So when I called them, and this is an email from the city recorder, that there's 19 single-family homes going in, 65 townhomes, 100 townhomes, that golf course, there's 664 units that could be, and that's a mixed development, so there's 142 single homes, another 107 in different phases, that's over the next 5 years. And this is an email that I'm happy to give to anybody, because it's...
Debating if I need the step stool. Okay. I'm Anna Langston. I'm a resident of Pleasant View. We like to think of ourselves as refugees from Maryland. We're also converts from the private school system to the public school system. Imagine that. We are aware district leadership has inherited challenges and been represented with some expensive new ones courtesy of the state legislature. As Billy Joel said, you didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning, which brings me to my point. This is not the first crisis of its kind, so let's not behave as if the nuclear option is our only one. Panicked decisions return poor results. Sustainable decision-making doesn't mean moving slowly, it means moving strategically. Hastily initiating a rash of school closures in response to financial pressures is a fearful reaction, not a measured one. If every board before you did so when they faced a financial crunch, there would be no schools left to save. The average age of the top 20 elementary school in Utah is 64 years old. As a district top performer, Lomond View isn't aging out, it's coming of age. I am most concerned by the tone we use when we speak about projects that may or may not take 20 years to come to fruition. As if 20 years from now is some Jetsons future wholly disconnected from ourselves. 20 years from now is just around the corner, and it is where any successful organization is looking when it makes its 5-year plan. We only enjoy the comforts of the modern world because of planners and builders who took it for granted that even as they weathered their own crises, the communities they were building would stand for generations. Even according to the district's rather dismal projections, Lomond View isn't predicted to lose more students than its contemporaries, which is in fact remarkable considering that for a school that moved almost a third of its population only 5 years ago. Usually a large single exodus from an organization would precipitate an accelerated decline, but Lomond View's numbers are holding steady with other schools in the district. This speaks to a loyal customer base, bolstered by a steady stream of newcomers like myself who came for the greatschools.org rating and stayed for the community. The most likely future lies somewhere between the optimist and the doomsdayer. It is extremely unlikely that we have reached a population pinnacle. Despite war and plague, growth is simply inevitable. A renewed policy of open borders could quickly present the district with thousands of students and nowhere to put them. Future district leaders will not thank you for closing a prime location as they struggle to accommodate what should have been foreseeable needs. They will wish they were merely dealing with pipe issues when they have to solve expensive drainage or stability problems.
Luke Morrison, Tiberius Morrison, Garrett Jones.
All right, good evening, members of the board. My name is Luke Morrison. I pre-briefed Tiberius. He's happy with my speech, so we're just going to go with that. So no Tiberius. Yeah, like I said, my name is Luke Morrison. My son Tiberius has been a student here for 4 years. I claim Pleasant View, and I represent Clan Morrison. Closing Lomond View will not address the district's greater problem of low enrollment. We have to start thinking like business leaders and see this moment for what it is, which is an opportunity to innovate and grow our enrollment and secure the future of public schools. Our challenge isn't just low birth rates, it's attrition. 13% of Utah students are already in charter schools, and that number is rising. Parents often seek out charter schools because it gives them the illusion of choice and the draw of smaller classes. Well, we have that here. With current availability, we can get ahead of charters by immediately offering a generous open enrollment policy. Currently, the best marketing for a private or a charter school is poorly performing local public schools. This can be countered by aggressive marketing. You can partner with realtors, offer welcome packets to new homeowners, and leverage AI for cheap and easy marketing. We should also take an interest in how parents choose schools. Ask for reviews on sites like greatschools.org or niche.com, and respond publicly to negative feedback to show parents are engaged and transparent. Since millennial parents often rank socialization as a higher priority than academic performance, we should highlight the community we offer and utilize ambassador families for outreach. This is something that drew us to Montessori schools previously. They just reached out and they're like, hey, come, this is great. I think you guys could do that here. Also, you should bring preschool programs into every elementary school. You already have one built-in success story with the make sure I say this right, Weber Warriors, right? Since you guys have underutilized space in most of the schools, you can expand these programs in-house, and then you can capture families before they even consider charters. And instead of drastic cuts, let's find intelligent savings and generate some new revenue. We have all the extracurricular activities. Make parents pay full price. We already pay hundreds of dollars in band and sports and everything. If we put the prices up front, parents will shovel that money right out, and we can make a profit or break even at least on some of these programs. We should also reconsider our bus service entirely. If we lease vans, we can get rid of all the maintenance, and we can replace all the half-filled buses. Many school districts nowadays are also charging like small fees for bus passes, and there are federal grants available for those who qualify, who need transportation. We can also finally use modern technology for AI and tele-instruction to enhance our specialty programs like DLI. We can also use it to handle routine administrative tasks and replace expensive administrators. Board members, let's not let our public school system decline without saying we didn't do everything possible. Closing schools is letting charter schools eat our lunch. Thank you very much.
Garrett Jones, Sierra Jones, Darcy Scoble.
Hi, my name is Garrett Jones. I have 3 kids that attend Lomond View. I'm a taxpayer. I was born and raised in North Ogden. I went to North Ogden and Green Acre Elementary. I went to North Ogden, Orion Junior High, and then I graduated from Weber High. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of the education system. I don't believe it worked for me. When I was in the 3rd grade, I was a bit slow at my reading compared to the rest of my class. And the solution to that problem was to put me in resource. So for the next 10 years, I didn't learn much. And when I was in the 4th grade, I told my teacher that I was bored, and she said I had to stay there because I was stupid. And that's cool, whatever. I found out in my mid-20s I'm actually just dyslexic. So what that really means is my software was incompatible with your system. I believe I'm a good husband, father, and a member of this community. and I've also had a very, fortunate having a good business career. And I credit the majority of this is to my community. For some unknown reason, I had fathers and families took me under my wing and told me just to be the best and have the best attitude you possibly can, work hard, apply the golden rule, and always help your fellow neighbor. I'll be forever in their debt. And you're probably thinking this is a unique case. However, I would highly recommend you consider the following statistics. That in 5 different studies and 2 different articles within the New York Times and Washington Post, there's estimated 50% of the people in prison are dyslexic. That fundamentally means that the system didn't work for a chunk of our population, and think of the problem that essentially occurred. However, there is a solution to this problem. When you compare decades worth of research, there's 4 key major factors across the highest performing schools, which is based across, it's valid across time, space, class, race, and culture. Statistically proven, when you compare marriage rates, parental involvement, low crime, high trust in the community, these stats all are associated with high performing schools. When you compare the data across the local area, Lomond is the highest rated in all these statistics. You can simply not replace the school and simply think that you're going to get the same outcome by delivering them to their local schools. You have to consider law accumulation. They will adapt to their environment. After working with my kids and doing their homework with them, I became a fan of this school. It is highly irresponsible to consider closing this school. There's not enough valid data to essentially consider this. In conclusion, I believe the test that's set before the board is what we give our kids, the marshmallow test. Are you going to sacrifice our kids and our community for the future even arrives? Thank you.
Sierra Jones, and then Darcy Scoville.
Good evening, Superintendency and Board. My name is Sierra Jones. I have 3 children attending Lomond View, and that was my husband. I was struck by Principal Archuleta's presentation at the last board meeting. He and his team have been implementing programs at TH Bell to be sure that every student feels safe and valued, and that each one has an adult personally invested in them. He anticipates it will take some time to establish, but has already seen beautiful, measurable success. Board, you have set similar goals for the students of Weber School District, stating, "We see you, we've got you, and you belong." My husband did not feel this growing up. Thankfully, my children attending Lomond View have. My oldest is my 3rd grader, and Jack back there is thoughtful, kind, and wise beyond his years. He likes to do things just right the first time. I mentioned my concerns to his teacher last year regarding his scores on timed tests. She said, "I'm not worried. He understands the concepts. The speed will come with practice. He's just a deliberate person who wants to take his time. It's in his nature and it comes with its own set of strengths. Math isn't timed in real life." She sees him. My 1st grader is silly and bouncy, all sugar and spice. Mrs. Ogle noticed that she could use some extra support in honing concentration skills. Rather than being left to struggle and eventually be separated from her peers like my husband was, Lomond View stepped in. She gets to visit our school counselor, Ms. Allred, a few times a week to receive personalized support and focus and following multi-step instructions. Mrs. Ogle recently sent home a note. "Grace did something great today. She finished all her work on time." They've got Grace. My youngest, Will, is adorable, independent, and loving. He has a speech delay and attends the Lomond View preschool. His teachers fill a journal with sweet notes, such as, "Will is always so happy to come to school. It makes Miss Tammy and Miss Tia happy too. Will belongs." Board, it takes decades to establish a community legacy like this. Do you see us? Do you have us? Our children and the administration, teachers, counselors, aides, and all other staff who play a vital role as a caring adult in their lives belong here. Our community belongs here. As our only voice within Weber School District, I beg you, please don't let us down. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Darcy Scoville, and I'm a resident of Pleasant View, and I have 5 children that have gone to Pleasant View and 3 that are currently enrolled there. A word that, throughout this study, a word that keeps coming to mind is invest, as we have been trying to figure out what you guys are
what it's important to you guys, as we've heard other things from other leaders, and who's invested in our kids. And I think that's a word that I keep looking at. But I guess what I look at though is the big picture. And for me, I know that I don't envy the position you're in with the finances, and I understand that there's a lot of seismic upgrades and mandates that you guys have to reach. And so looking at all the schools, there are 20 schools that are on the RBS that have an RBS score of 2 or less. There's 12 schools that are under the category that are likely under reinforced masonry as well. So that's 32 schools out of the 48 schools that have unreinforced masonry. And I guess what I keep thinking of is closing Lomond View won't fix any of that. And so for all of the positives and all that it brings to the community, that will not fix any of the other issues that have to be fixed throughout the district. And I know this isn't your issue, but it is what it is. But we need to invest in our schools, and we need to invest in our students. And closing Lomond View won't fix any of that. And I guess as I was looking at the bonds in 2017, one school, we built some new schools, but we rebuilt Roy Junior High. In the 2021 bond, it was Roosevelt that was rebuilt. And at that rate, if we only rebuild one school every bond, we can't keep up even with when the mandate is due. And so I guess my suggestion is that we go to bond and we invest in our schools, that we don't maybe take a pause from building new schools and invest in what we have, because we have so much. As you can see, I know that Lomond View is old, and there are things that it needs to be fixed, but it's worth fixing. And so I ask that you invest in Lomond View. If whatever it needs, let's take care of it. It's worth it. And I would say that for a lot of the schools in the district. Thank you.
Are you Nora? Go ahead. After Nora gets done, we've been here about 2 hours. Let's take a 10-minute break. So you guys have been sitting on folding metal chairs for 2 hours. Let's take about a 10-minute break after Nora gets done. And then after 10 minutes, we'll call things back to order and go with Avery Gaffenhold. Okay, go ahead.
Hi board members, my name is Nora Scoville, and I am what they call a Sevi at Orion Junior High. I went to Lomond View Elementary from kindergarten to 6th grade and loved it. I love Lomond View so much that I actually started a petition at junior high to keep Lomond View up, and got over 100 junior high kids to sign. It was really neat to hear from the kids that signed why they love Lomond View. I wanted to share why I love Lomond View. I've always loved music, but I feel like my love of music really grew at Lomond View. I didn't just go to school. I had the opportunity to play in the chimes choir, play in the bells choir, sing in the choir, learn how to sing a solo, learn what it feels like when you forget your solo, but also learn to have courage to get back up there on the stage and nail your solo. I learned how to play the ukulele, learned how to play the drums, I learned how to accompany the choir with my violin, and had the amazing opportunity to play my violin in the concert. All of these experiences increased my love of music, increased my knowledge, enriched my education, and gave me the feeling of belonging at Lomond View. Along with these amazing experiences, I got to work with the best of the best. We have incredible musical talent in our community that volunteer their time and share their love of music with the kids at Lomond View. I'm grateful for each of these directors and teachers that share their love of music with me in different ways. I was a sponge and soaked it all in. Now it is so awesome to see my younger siblings have the same opportunities that I had. Lomond View has many amazing legacies, and their music program is one of them. I hope that Lomond View stays open so that our other kids can have the same experiences that I did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mara. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break and start up again about 10 minutes after 8. Thank you. Okay, let's get going on the second half here. We'll start with Avery Gather-Cole, Alyssa Post, and Oliver Isaacs.
Hi, my name is Avery Gather-Cole, and I am a third grader at Lomond View, and I really love my school. I don't want my school to close because it is a really special place with really special people that are making a huge difference in my life and who cannot be replaced. I love my teachers, the janitors, the counselor, the librarian, the aides, the office ladies, the lunch ladies, and our principal. Everyone here makes me feel safe, seen, happy, and loved. Lomond View isn't just a school, it's a family. It's where I belong. Please keep our school open, and thank you for your time.
Alyssa Post, please. Oliver Isaacson and Nicole Atkinson.
Are you ready? Hi, my name is Alyssa Post, but I also go by Lexi, so most people here will know me by that. I wanted to point out that although we had some people clear out, we had over 300 people here to support that non-closure of Lomond View, and I think it's very evident how important this is for our community to keep this school going. So I wanted to also talk a little bit about, I know that most of you have been on the board less than 10 years. I know a lot of things about our district is that we have an aging buildings and we have this decline that's really small in student growth. But I wondered some things as me and a group of women have definitely spent hours and nights late researching what is up with the finances of the district, what's up with the reasons why you're choosing this, why you would come at this, why would you take the school that we love so much that isn't really that old. And what we kind of come down to, or at least I've noticed, is that there doesn't seem to be any long-term maintenance planning. And I'm really frustrated with this as I see it. When we look at Davis School District, they passed a bond in 2015 to strengthen their older schools from earthquakes. Whenever they repair a roof or they did any big maintenance projects, they also made safety and building upgrades. That kind of planning helped older schools last longer and stay safe for students. Why aren't options like that being considered for Lomond View or other neighborhood schools in the same problem? Why is the first choice to close a smaller community school and build larger ones instead of improving what we already have? Bigger is not always better. When it comes to research, we know the sizes that you consistently have had in every school in Weber School District has been perfect. It has been great with the research, but now you're going to put our kids into an 800 kid school. That's not consistent with what's best for kids. On top of that, you are looking at saving money to close these schools, but you only looked at North Ogden and Pleasant View. You did not look at anything that's going on in Harrisville. There are so many homes going in, and those schools are already jam-packed. Why were they not included in this study? It is completely unfair to leave them out when so much of the reason why Orchard Springs was built was to totally take some of the pressure off of Majestic, which honestly, it could still do. We could still do boundary adjustments and make Orchard Springs much more plentiful and still keep our school. I think that that's also a really good option. So I just am wondering why there isn't, this feels like more like whack-a-mole instead of like having had a clear plan for what the future schools are going to need. We knew this school was aging. The school has been around for 60 years. There is no reason that there wouldn't be a roof that needs to be redone. That's just routine maintenance. I want to know why that wasn't planned for. Anyways, I think I'm at the end. Thanks for your time. I know you guys are trying your best.
fifth grader at Lomond View Elementary. I really love my school. My teachers are amazing and my classmates and me feel like family. We've grown up together and it would be really sad if we got split up and lost our school. With all the school violence in the news lately, Lomond View feels like a safe place where we protected and cared for. It is a school where we don't have to worry and we can just focus on learning and being kids. If Lomond View closes, my sixth grade friends will be split up and sent to different schools. We've been together since kindergarten. We've learned together, played together, and helped each other through everything. It's not fair to break that apart right before junior high school. Also, I've visited Orchard Springs and they don't have soccer goals on their playground, and I love soccer. Lomond View has a safe place for us to run, play, and just be kids. Please don't close our school. Lomond View is our safe place, a home away from home. Thank you.
Thank you all. Nicole Atkinson, Tom Mankey, and Aaron Malberg.
Hello, I'm Nicole Atkinson and I'm a Pleasant View resident. My two oldest of 3 children attend Lomond View right now. I would like to see Lomond View stay open. I believe it would be a mistake to close it at this time. With all of the information and research that we've seen come from the district as well as the Lomond View community, it feels like there are too many factors and not enough information to support that a closure is the right call. There are too many unknowns and not enough time to establish the best path forward. If the closure happens, we would be dealing with schools that are uncomfortably close to max capacity, large class sizes, overworked teachers, and a possible need for another new school in just a few years because of growth in our cities. Something I'd like you to consider is that in all 3 of the boundary studies, my children would go to North Ogden Elementary, not Orchard Springs. In this case, my children would be taken from what they know at Lomond View, try to adjust to a new culture at a different elementary, just to be moved from their new norm and shift to a different junior high, Orion, rather than where North Ogden Elementary kids go, North Ogden Junior High. That's a lot of shifting without moving houses. I also would like to touch on the community that supports Lomond View. We have so many parents, teachers, and school staff that are working together to create a beautiful learning environment. This spirit of collaboration among all members of the school community contributes to a positive learning environment where children exhibit higher levels of motivation, better grades, and improved problem-solving skills. The Lomond View teachers, staff, and community have created an environment where children can flourish, unlocking their full potential and setting them on the path to lifelong success. I hope within the next 3 weeks before the announced decision that you can all review the emails, documents, and research that has been done to help with this important decision. My second grader, Kate, would also like me to say that she loves this school and wants it to stay open so other kids can be as happy as she is at Lomond View. It is the best school. Thank you.
Tom Mankey, Aaron Malberg, and Maury Ramkin.
Hello, my name is Tom Mankey, and I'm a taxpayer living in North Ogden. Dear members of the board, thank you for giving me the chance to speak tonight. I'm here as a concerned member of this community, someone who cares deeply about our schools and the children they serve. What troubles me most is what feels like a lack of urgency about our district's declining enrollment. This is not just a statistic, it is a warning sign about the health and future of our schools. The numbers are telling us something, and it's not good. Families are leaving. They're choosing private schools, charter schools, and homeschooling. The real question is why? Why are families losing confidence in what our school district offers? Why do they feel their children's needs are not being met here? I've heard a lot of talk about budgets and buildings. but not enough about the heart of the matter, why families are walking away. Declining enrollment is not just a financial issue. It's a message from our community that they are unhappy or uncertain about the direction that we are going. And yet, instead of bold action to rebuild trust and prove value, we're seeing proposals to close top-performing schools, as well as increases in administrative spending. Leadership salaries were recently increased by over 40% in 1 year. This while classrooms face cuts? That does not sit well with many of us. This district cannot afford to be reactive anymore. We need to ask hard questions and actually listen to the answers. What do families want and need from their schools? How do we bring them back? And how can we use our successful schools, such as Lomond View, as examples to strengthen the entire district instead of shutting them down? Because here's the truth. Enrollment is the lifeblood of our schools. Without students, we don't have schools. Without schools, we lose our community. And when we lose that, we lose the foundation that holds us together. Please don't dismiss this trend or delay action. Let's move from complacency to commitment. Let's show our families that we're willing to listen, to change, and to fight for the future of public education in this district. The future of our community depends on it. Thank you for your time.
Aaron Lomond, Mario Rampton, Megan Muterbrook.
Good morning, not good morning, good evening, I'm so nervous. All right, my husband said if I cried I had to sit down, so here we go. My name is Aaron Malmborg. My husband and I live here in Pleasant View. We've also are both long-time teachers and educators in a neighboring school district. Our 4 children attend Weber School District instead of that district because we believe in your vision and we believe in what Lomond View had to offer for them. The staff here at Lomond View was amazing for them. Our family has seen firsthand the care, effort, and dedication that go into making the district such a wonderful place for students to grow and learn. First, I want to sincerely thank you. I know the weight of the decision before you, and I truly appreciate the thoughtful, student-centered approach you bring to this process. It's clear that you care deeply what's best for our children, our educators, and our community. I want you to know that I respect and trust all of your leadership. That's why I'm here tonight to respectfully ask that you wait before making a final decision to close Lomond View until we have a clear picture of the growth and population changes happening in our area. Pleasant View is expanding, new homes are being built, new families are moving in, and our local demographics are shifting. The numbers we see today might not reflect what enrollment will look like just a short time from now. Making a permanent decision based on incomplete or changing data could limit our ability to meet future needs and serve the students who are coming. Lomond View isn't just a school, it's a cornerstone of this community. It's a place where students feel seen and supported, where teachers build meaningful relationships, and where families come together. Once a school like that closes, it's nearly impossible to recreate the same sense of connection and pride somewhere else. I understand and appreciate the need to use resources wisely and plan responsibly, but I also believe that sometimes the best decision a leader can make is to wait, just long enough to ensure every factor has been fully considered. By doing so, you'll be protecting both the financial health of the district and the stability of our community. I have full confidence in this board and our superintendent. I know you will make the best choice for our students and for the long-term future of the Weber School District. I just ask that before you close Lomond View, that you make sure you've gathered all the information you need, because it's a lasting decision that's going to be hard to undo. My own children go to Weber High. My oldest is his custodian here at Lomond View at night. My son's at Orion, and my 2 youngest are still here at Lomond View. And the staff is amazing. Please don't break them up. Thank you.
Mario Tommy Wilkinson.
Thank you for being here and for listening. I don't envy the difficult position you are all in right now, and I thank you for your time and your service. My name is Mary Rampton. I'm a resident of Pleasant View and a former kindergarten and second grade teacher. I have 2 children currently attending Lomond View Elementary School and a 3-year-old future lion. Tonight, I am once again urging the board to delay any final decision to close Lomond View until a full, transparent analysis has been completed with more time and careful deliberation. A rush decision will overlook long-term consequences for children, teachers, administration, support staff, and the community at large. I strongly encourage you, the board, to ask yourselves, what is Weber School District's overall 10 to 20-year plan in regards to community growth, demographic changes, and building maintenance? How would the potential closure of Lomond View fit within this long-term plan? What message are we sending to the community if we decide to close Lomond View about the district's community investment and educational priorities? Because of my husband's medical school journey and training, my oldest daughter, Dottie, moved 5 times by the time she started 1st grade. We have lived in many states and are thrilled to finally be settled in a beautiful community. When Dottie came to Lomond View as a new student in 1st grade 2 years ago, she was embraced, included, and immediately seen and challenged by her teacher. As you can imagine, we were devastated when we were told that Lomond View was considered to be closed after so much constant shifting for our little family, particularly for Dottie. She has thrived at Lomond View and has had various strengths brought out by her various teachers. My middle son also started kindergarten this year and loves coming to school, especially his periodic class dance breaks in Mrs. Larson's class. Because Lomond View is a smaller school, the teachers and staff are able to meet the needs of children within their individual zones of proximal development. Students with IEPs receive the critical support they need to thrive, while academically advanced students are continually challenged through small groups and differentiated instruction. Public education is a cornerstone of democracy and key to maintaining an educated populace. Yet I realize there has been a statewide dip in public education enrollment over the last few years, which leads to tight budget constraints for school districts. But the answer to this issue cannot be to close high-performing public schools with vibrant communities such as Lomond View, as this will push more families to explore charter, private, and homeschooling options, thereby exacerbating the trend rather than solving it. Again, I strongly encourage the board to delay any final decision to close Lomond View until more information has been gathered and analyzed thoroughly. Fiscal responsibility is imperative, and it can be maintained without the permanent closure of a thriving, high-performing, well-beloved, and community-supported public elementary school like Lomond View. Thank you.
Excuse me, Megan Muirbrook.
My name is Megan Muirbrook, and I have 3 children who attend Lomond View Elementary. I'm here tonight to voice my opposition to the closure of Lomond View, and I want to thank you all for being here and for listening. As stated on the Weber School District website, members of the board have a duty to act in the best interest of the students in our district. The Elevate 20 initiative also emphasizes that the district's goal is to provide the best possible educational experience for every student in the district. I ask you to truly consider whether closing Lomond View fulfills that goal. Closing our school will push nearby schools at or near capacity, reducing flexibility and limiting learning opportunities. It will also separate students from their peers and teachers, disrupting their sense of belonging, something research shows can have lasting academic, emotional, and mental impacts. And as has been stated earlier, our kids benefit from stability. Lomond View is the top performing elementary school in the district. In 2025, it scored highest in RISE, math, and science, and continues to excel. Our school continues to excel in reading. Our school also offers a wide range of clubs and extracurriculars, as has been mentioned tonight, that enrich our students' experiences and build community. I believe that closing Lomond View would go against the goals and duties the district has outlined. This is a major decision that deserves more than 3 months of study and must be backed by complete, accurate data. As noted in last week's board meeting, there are still key gaps, including missing data on new development growth and student yield factors. There's also an ongoing DLI study that could directly affect these outcomes. We cannot rush a decision that will have long-lasting impacts, not only on Lomond View students, but also will affect students at North Ogden Elementary, Orchard Springs, and all of the schools in our district. I urge the board to vote no on the closure and to keep the best interests of our students at the heart of your decision. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go with Sean, then Melissa Bilstick, and Steve Martin.
All right. Good evening. Thank you so much for holding this public hearing tonight. Professionally, I work for Weber County as the Community Development Director. I've sat on the other side where you are of that table in many public hearings where people were passionately expressing what they felt was best. So I understand where you're coming from with your perspective and the information that you have. I also understand where the residents are coming from. I was recently elected to the Pleasant View City Council beginning in January. I'm not here representing the city, but I'm here supporting the people that have come out tonight, my fellow residents. I am here representing my family. I do have a 6th grader here at Lomond View. It's the best school I can imagine. I've had 2 children that have attended here. They have loved it, and it has been an amazing school for them. I have 2 children at Weber High right now as well. So we are heavily invested in the Weber School District. As I mentioned, professionally, I work for Weber County in community development, and I wanted to talk a little bit about growth. I know that it's been mentioned quite a bit tonight. But we need to make sure that when we're talking about growth, we're talking about what is actually happening with growth in the state of Utah. You may be aware, maybe not, but we can't base our projections only on what is currently in our development pipeline and what we see in our general plans. Governor Cox is advocating for 150,000 new homes, including 35,000 starter homes by the end of 2028. That will affect our area. That is being done under the threat of the state taking away the zoning powers that the cities currently have. I'm not making this up. Now, it's not law yet, but the legislature will be considering this. So this is the reality that we're dealing with. Growth is coming that we don't understand. And we need to be prepared for that. If we get rid of Lomond View and Pleasant View explodes, we've made a mistake, and that needs to be seriously considered. The basis of good decisions is accurate information. We can't just rely on the quickest and the easiest solution to save $1 million. That's not the way that we need to do this. Please, please, please make sure that you are looking at the accurate information as far as growth projections go. We need to make the decision based on what is real and what is coming. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Melissa, then Steve Martin, and Chauncey Burger, please. No Melissa? Okay. Steve Martin, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Stephen Martin. I have 1 kid at Weber, 1 at Orion, 2 at Lomond View, and a baby that I hope will get to attend Lomond View. My purpose in speaking tonight is simple. I want to urge you to vote to keep Lomond View open. Here are some of my thoughts. Number 1, I believe it is non-negotiable that in deciding to close a school, the district and the board have to be able to assure the affected students and families of the closing school that they will be getting a better opportunity for learning and education after the closure. The district has been silent on this, and the reason is obvious. How can they make any assurances like that when they're trying to close the top performing elementary school in the district? Number 2, based on the data the district has presented to the board, closing Lomond View would be a short-sighted, cost-cutting decision. Utilizing the same information that the district presented at the board meetings and comparing to the cost of new schools, please note, board, that if you vote to close Lomond View, you are telling all families in this broad demographic area, not just Lomond View, that there will not be a need for a new school to be built in the next 27 years. That year is the break-even point based on the district's most expensive proposed costs associated to upgrading and maintaining Lomond View. Number 3, I've attended each board meeting, and it was apparent that the district had been scrambling to provide data by the dates of the meetings. The data that they presented was by their own admission not complete. I don't think you should vote to close any school unless comprehensive data on both birth rates and projected growth is thoroughly completed and verified by an independent source. Number 4, the scope of this study is simply too limited. Only including 3 schools in this study is probably its biggest glaring Achilles heel. When trying to consolidate schools, you can't only focus on low enrollment schools, you have to also focus on growth in areas where schools are already at full capacity and how you would account for that. Naturally, this means a closure study needs to include more schools in the demographic area and all growth projections associated with those boundaries. Lomond View is a well-loved, family-supported school. It has the capacity to provide a district-leading education to 650 students. I once again urge you to vote to keep Lomond View open. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Chauncey Berger, Noah Lauder, and Carter Isaacson.
Hello, board members. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you spending all of this hours listening to us and considering our opinions. My name is Chauncey Berger. I'm a resident of Pleasant View. I'm speaking for myself. I've had one daughter go through Lomond View. I have one currently, and I have a 3-year-old to be a hopeful lion. I actually attended Lomond View, so I am an alumni. Started in kindergarten, Mrs. Beasley, all the way to Mr. Coiner, and I got to walk the halls with Alan Reese, and I'm thankful for those that walk the halls now. Lomond View has seen its share of changes and improvements. We have seen that all throughout our community, but we Lions, we're adaptable as long as we have our community. I'd like to take you back to the 1980s when the district had started talking about making additions. The main addition started in 1983. With these talks of additions, community members approached the district to ask for a multipurpose room and then expanded into the gym with the one that we're in right now. When the district told the community leaders, we're not sure who they are at this point, that the school, if the school could raise $100,000, they would expand to the gym. So the work began with kids selling wrapping paper, chocolate bars, an auction, bake sales, donations, including one from a local dentist who sold his cabin lot and donated the proceeds to the school, and those who just wrote checks. Dar Larson, the local Pepsi distributor, and Ben Day, the local Coke distributor, combined to fund the floor. That's the reason we have Pepsi and Coke logos together on one floor as the only place that exists known in the universe. Each company member raised $25,000 for each half of the floor. The construction was motivated by the death of Jay Reese. He died of a malignant inoperable brain tumor in May of 1984. He was a city council member, a former principal of Weber High, a stake president, and ended his career as an assistant superintendent of Weber School District. The project was finished in the spring of 1986, and Alan Reese, Jay's son, started teaching Lomond View in August of 1986. So he had the benefit of starting his career in the brand new addition with the name of his father. He also, in the name and honor of his dad, he got to visit in the form of his portrait in the library. The community was extremely dedicated to making the project successful, with the principal, PTA members, funding of the community, the committees,
working hard to make it happen. As you know, nothing has really changed. People are still dedicated to Lomond View, the school, and the community. Thank you.
Noah Lauder, Carter Isaacson, and Christopher Alteri.
Hi, I'm Ezra Lauder. I'm in 2nd grade and I love the school. I've been working so hard to be the best I can be. My teacher, Dr. Watson, and all the aides have helped me so much. I have really great friends here at Lomond View. Please keep our school open so I can keep getting better with the teachers and aides and Dr. Watson that I know and love. Thank you.
They're sharing the time. Okay.
My name is Noah Lauder. I'm in 3rd grade. I've been going to Lomond View for 5 years. I know you're thinking 5 years. That doesn't make sense, but I've actually been going to Lomond View since preschool. I love it here. When I started in Mrs. Tia's preschool, we lived in North Ogden. We ended up moving to Pleasant View so my siblings and I could come to school here. I love science club and running club. I can't wait to join the choir soon. The school is the best. I don't think you should shut down our school because Lomond View has been really great for me. Moving to a different school would not be that fun, and staying at Lomond View is the best option for me. And please keep Lomond View open. Thank you.
Carter Isaacson.
Okay, my name is Carter Isaacson. I attend Weber High School. I started at Kaysville Elementary for kindergarten through 1st and 2nd grade, and then I moved here for 3rd grade. At Kaysville, I was ridiculed for my ADHD and I call it fun-loving nature, but the teachers thought that nature was better in the hall, so I spent most of my time in the hall. But in 3rd grade, we moved here to Pleasant View, and I've loved it. I love the schools. I was praised for my fun-loving nature by Miss Randall, Mr. Tootie, where is she here? Oh, Mr. Tootie, Mr. Reese, and Miss Stoddard, to name a few. I still consider myself a Lomond View Lion because I implement all the things I've been taught here day to day in my life, and I think Lomond View should stay open so you don't rob that from all the other kids. Thank you.
Christopher Alteri, Abby Twingstrom, Camry Page. Christopher. Okay. Move on. Abby Twingstrom, please.
I am Abby Twingstrom. I live in Pleasant View and I'm here representing myself and my family. Hello, board members and district representatives. I want to start by saying thank you for all you do. I don't know any of you personally, but I know many people who know you personally, and I've heard of the goodness and your character, and I believe you do care deeply about the students in this district and in this community. I'm hopeful and confident that you'll make the best decision for our kids. Sorry, I'm pregnant with twins, so I'm out of breath. Okay. All right. Honestly, I've thought long and hard about this decision that you've had to make because I can see where you're coming from in creating this study and that there is a lot to take into consideration. These are the conclusions that I formed. First of all, from a logistical standpoint, Probably the strongest reason there is, and this is something that's been reiterated tonight, but there's simply too much emotion right now, specifically in the Weber Cone, to make sense to close the school. Depending on the results of the DLI study, Bates and Majestic Elementaries could see significant population shifts. There's also an ongoing growth happening in this area that could greatly affect enrollment numbers. It makes sense to watch and assess over the next several years before making a decision of this magnitude. Acting too quickly could lead to unintended financial, logistical, and community-wide consequences that are hard to reverse. On another note, I've been lucky to be heavily involved at 3 very different schools in this district, each with its own population, challenges, and strengths. I want to make it clear that I believe every school in this district has incredible teachers, staff, students, and parents who care deeply about learning and community. Lomond View is seen as a successful school district-wide for many reasons. I'm also fully aware that a big part of the success here comes from the strength, stability, and affluence of the people that live here. But it's not just the privilege and the location, there are deep roots here. There's a culture of connection and partnership between families and educators that can't be replicated simply by moving students elsewhere. I have no doubt that other schools, namely Orchard Springs and North Ogden, are excellent and provide the best education possible for their students. But I believe our students can do the most good and be most successful by continuing to grow, learn, and thrive right here at Lomond View, and then carry that momentum onto Orion and Weber High, where they will continue to contribute alongside other amazing kids from across the districts. On a personal note, while I don't think the world will end if my 2 kids have to go to another school next year, I do strongly believe they would thrive more here at Lomond View than anywhere else. Both of my children love it here. My daughter struggled with reading and math, but has made huge growth. And I have a son who has had behavioral and mental health challenges since kindergarten. This year, building on years of support from caring teachers and staff, I've seen him blossom. He's been surrounded by a village of adults that understand him, love him, despite his imperfections, and he's finally starting to thrive. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your open hearts and minds. I know you're juggling many competing needs, and I trust you'll continue to make good choices.
I am Cam Page, and I'm a 4th grader here at Lomond View. I don't want you to close Lomond View, and I'll tell you why. First, Lomond View is my home. There are a lot of nice people here, and we respect each other. I have been here for a long time, and I feel safe here. I know that people here at Lomond View care about me. The teachers here love us and know us by name, and they will keep us safe. Next, some of my best memories are here at Lomond View. In our awesome gym, we play a lot of really fun games. I love singing in the choir, and it brings me joy. Sometimes when I sing, it even makes me cry a little bit. This is my first year in the choir, and if Lomond View closes, I won't be able to do the choir anymore. Lastly, the teachers have taught me a lot and still are. They have helped me to be nice and respectful. They help me learn how to focus when I have a hard time with that. And they are awesome at teaching us math. These are the reasons why I love Lomond View, and please don't close Lomond View, my home. Thank you.
Arthur Floyd, Jeff Johnson, and Amy Kramer.
Hi, thanks for your time, and thanks, Kareem, for letting me have your spot. Last year and the years before, my wife and I had decided that we would have our kids at a charter school, so we've been having them go there. As they've been growing older, we came to a decision that we would have to make for their future. Where would they go to middle school? Where would they go to high school? Things like that. And a couple of the main factors that we were deciding in where they would go to school were the performance of the school, as well as the community that is involved around them, who they would go to school with, the group of friends. So when we were looking into this decision, we noticed that Lomond View, which is the school we're in the boundaries for, is the top performing school in this area, and we were surprised, well, why are we going to a charter school if the public school we're in the boundaries for is the best school around? So we made the decision to come here, and it's been a really good decision, not only because this is the #1 school in this area, but one of the interesting things, we have one of our kids on a 504, and the charter school didn't bother to send the paperwork, and so we met with the administration about this, and they set up the 504 and had her, they implemented it that very day, and we were thrilled. She came home from school and said, "My teacher did this and this for me," and they had implemented the things we talked about that morning, that very day, and our daughter was so relieved that very day, and since then too. And it's been such a great experience. The other factor, as far as the schools they'll be going to after, the boundary change suggestions are interesting. One of our kids is in 6th, the other is in 4th, and based on the time frames, the different changes will happen. One of our kids will be going to a different middle school than the other based on the boundary changes, and so that's not a great decision. One other quick factor, I took a break to help put the kids in bed and then came back, and I asked the kids, do you want me to just stay or do you want me to go talk about trying to save your school? And as a kid, if my parents had asked me that, I had a totally different experience. I would have said, I don't care, like they can close the school. I'm interested in looking into other opportunities, but my kids said, please go tell them to keep our school open. Thank you.
Jeff Johnson, Amy Kramer, Rosemary Johnson.
Jeff Johnson. I am, excuse me, a Pleasant View resident. All 5 of my children attended here, and I currently have 3 grandkids enrolled here. First, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for your service to all of us. Your service is appreciated. And I want to thank you for expending your valuable time. And yes, I know your time is valuable with all of us here tonight and listening to us. We can talk about the statistics and the fact that this is the top performing school in the district. There's irony in that fact with the reason we're here. But we can also inject all the love you're seeing tonight for this institution. We can talk about the emotion your study of closure has generated. But I don't believe that's the issue here. This issue runs deeper than that. It's an issue of understanding. It's an issue of your comprehension. You are sitting in a jewel that took decades to build, about as long as most of you have been alive. And jewels like this just don't happen. It is part of the heart and soul of this community and of Weber District. And it's a jewel that is irreplaceable. Jewels have facets. And like all jewels, this jewel has facets. What do facets do? Well, they reflect light. They refract the light back at you from all around you. Look around you. You're seeing some of that light here tonight from this jewel. There are many facets being exemplified here, and they are shining at you tonight. This community jewel is shining at you. This doesn't just happen. This takes decades to build. The superb staff, the marvelous students, the great community families, the shining legacy of this institution. You cannot destroy this jewel because of a temporary fiscal problem. I understand budgets. I worked for the city for 25 years. I worked for the state for 18. I understand fiscal responsibility and budget shortfalls. I'm just asking you to understand this runs deeper than all of that. If it boils down to a spreadsheet, you're not the right people for this job. See the jewel that you are sitting in and the light that exudes from this, and make a wise choice.
Good evening. I want to first thank you all for being here. I know it's getting late, especially on a school night. My name is Amy Kramer. We moved here 12 years ago from California for work. We didn't know the area, but we bought a house here in Pleasant View. Gina knows I'm a crier, so I apologize. Because Lomond View was a top-rated school, and we wanted a good school for our kids. It was top-rated then, and it is still a top-rated school with so many excellent clubs, programs, and traditions that have shaped my kids and helped them have a great education and experience at school. Lomond View is small and uncrowded, and we love it that way. If Lomond View were to close and our kids combined with Orchard Springs and North Ogden, that would push those two schools closer to their limits. I do not want my kids going to such overcrowded schools where instead of knowing everyone at their school and feeling like a valued part of the student body, they are just a number. There's so much growth happening in Pleasant View and the surrounding areas. We have seen city maps where those potential building sites are. They are in the school boundaries of Lomond View, Orchard Springs, and North Ogden. And one thing not even being talked about is the growth in Harrisville, which we've heard about tonight. In my own backyard, 65 homes are proposed to be developed. Are we expecting all these children that will be moving into these homes to go to already overcrowded schools? I think one thing that needs to be paid more attention to is so many people are moving to Utah and this area. Declining birth rates has been an argument for closure again and again, but being mostly ignored is, like myself, people move around. And people will move to and pay for more expensive housing if it is the boundary of a great school. I think we need to take more of a long-term view of what is happening in Pleasant View. What will happen in 5 to 10 to 15 years when the growth has happened and the families and kids have moved in and the schools are at their limits? We will need to build another elementary school. Haven Bay cost about $50 million to build. The upgrades proposed to keep Lomond View open are less than half of that cost. You won't just be saving money by saving Lomond View, but strong and thriving community, teachers and staff that love their students, friendships that take years to develop, and a school with so many parents who care about their children's educations, who volunteer countless hours to give them so many good experiences at school. Please don't take this away from our children. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Rosemary Johnson. I live in Pleasant View, currently have been here for 30 years. I was a teacher at Lomond View for 19 of those years. And in that time, I had experiences with many of the wonderful children that come through this school. This evening, I'd like to say personally thank you to all the boys and girls who had the courage and the belief and the love of Lomond View Lions to stand up here and bear their feelings and thoughts and love for us. We really appreciate you, and you are a great testimony to what we teach and what we believe here at Lomond View. I brought up the decision to continue to work at Lomond View in spite of some pretty difficult years. Back in 1995 through 2012, I was teaching here, beginning as a kindergarten teacher. And in my morning class, the first year I taught here, there were 29 students, kindergartners, and the afternoon session was 31 students. I had one instructional assistant to help me. It is pathetic that little 5-year-olds could be in numbers like that and continue to expect that their self-esteem was going to continue to grow during that year. We did everything we could, but I have to tell you, in the years after that, I taught in 1st grade, I taught in 2nd grade, and I taught in 3rd grade. And it was this terrible overcrowding in the classrooms. Not unusual to have 31 and 32 children in your classrooms. I'm concerned with everything we've heard and read about overcrowding, whether it be at Orchard Springs or it be at North Ogden Elementary. I think we are going to face very similar situations in the next 5 to 10 years. Why is that so important to me? Well, first of all of my children went through Lomond View, and I knew all of the teachers personally, and I would have recommended any and all of them for my children. I now have 3 grandchildren who will be coming through Lomond View, and I do believe Lomond View will be here for them. I hope that it will be here. But I want to discuss with you just a few of the observations that I made personally while I was teaching in these overcrowded classrooms. What happens with overcrowding is you have discipline issues. You have frustration on the part of students waiting in line. You have very noisy cafeterias. You have reduced library time. You have issues with busing and confusion. We have behavior in the halls. You have problems with, as I said, behavior issues. A lot of frustration, and all these issues create discipline problems. We deserve better at Lomond View.
Christopher, Brianna Dahl, and Elizabeth Allen.
I'm not Charlotte Christopher, she's not here. Are people allowed to speak on her behalf, or I can sit down if that's not okay? If that's not okay, I will sit right back down. No, it's up to the board and the superintendency. Are you sure? She messaged me and she had some questions. My name is Sarah Yuri. I'm speaking in my capacity as a city council member of Pleasant View. I've been a city council member for the past 10 years. Charlotte had questions about growth and about, if we close Lomond View, what would happen with the new growth that is coming. And so in that capacity, we did meet with the superintendency. I met with the mayor, the superintendency, and some members of the board about the projected growth that is coming to Pleasant View. Sean Wilkinson, who's a newly elected member of the city council, did speak to some actual things that are happening. The Governor Cox has put forth an initiative to corral the city's zoning abilities to make it so that we will have much higher density in every zone that we currently have in Pleasant View. We also have before us some master plan community proposals in Pleasant View at the end of Pleasant View Drive on the west end, and also above 4300 North, that will drastically increase the density within our city. So projected growth is quite higher than what we have currently now in our zoning. We did send some information to the board, to the superintendency, about the current building permits that we have issued and also that we will be having issued. There's a lot of growth coming to Pleasant View. And my thought, or the community's thought with the growth that is coming to Pleasant View, perhaps we slow down. I don't think we lose anything by slowing down and doing a comprehensive view of Weber Cone to make sure that we are doing the dual language immersion program. We're looking at Pioneer, we're looking at the growth in Harrisville, we're looking at the growth in Pleasant View and North Ogden to make sure we're making the best interest, so we're not making a decision that could potentially impact future decisions and fast track a new school. Because new schools are extremely expensive. Haven Bay, my understand, was $45 million. And it's kind of like having a used car that you fix up versus buying a brand new vehicle. I know that's really kind of an unfair comparison, but investing in our school now to wait to have a comprehensive look at an overall cone issue perhaps might be a more prudent decision to make sure that we don't displace these children faster than they need to be, and then to only displace them again. Just my thoughts, and as a city council member, growth is coming. We're privy to a lot of that information with the Utah League of Cities and Towns and with the initiatives that are coming with what the governor and the state legislature is doing. They feel like we have a housing crisis, and they are going to put forth initiatives to tie our hands. So just some things to consider. Just pause and slow down. That's just my thoughts. Thank you.
Brianna Dahl, Elizabeth Allen, and Chad Hill. Brianna. Okay. Elizabeth Allen, please. Elizabeth. Yes. And Chad Hill, and then Hayden Hollis.
Hi. My name is Elizabeth Allen. I have never done anything like this before. Okay. So I'm a mother of 5. 3 of my children attend Lomond View Elementary School. We moved to this area just about 6 years ago from Arizona. So in all honesty, I'm not really emotionally attached to this school. Like, we didn't grow up here, I didn't go here. I'm a sunburst blazer bean from Phoenix, right? So I honestly feel that our kids, I'm sure that Orchard Springs is a great school and that North Ogden is a great school. I think we're very lucky to live where we live with so many great options. We've heard a lot of eloquent statements tonight from people who have clear data, great arguments. I unfortunately am not one of those people, but I just want to strongly second many of the opinions that we heard tonight, especially those of incoming Councilman Sean Wilkinson. My main concern in this situation is that the decision is being made too hastily, without thorough data and foresight into the growth of this area. Just like Sarah Uri was just talking about, I agree with Amy Kramer and Rosemary Johnson, I think those are their names, that one of my main concerns is overcrowding at the schools and large class sizes. I know I was considering a private school option I have a kindergartner, her name's Birdie, and we did a private school kindergarten for my now 2nd grader and loved it. But we thought to simplify things for our family this year, we would try kindergarten. And I was very encouraged, we would try kindergarten here at Lomond View. And I was very encouraged when I knew that her class size only had 21 kids. I thought, okay, this is gonna be great. She's gonna thrive with this number in her kindergarten class. I do know that Lomond View is a mature school and has some maintenance needs. But unless there's an issue putting our children in imminent danger right now, I don't see the need to rush this decision. So I would just urge the board to vote no on the closure for now and take more time to study the issue and the incoming growth of the area. This is a big decision that will affect students at our school as well as the schools of North Ogden and Orchard Springs. All those families and all those students are going to be affected. So I would just hope and pray that we just take more time. No need to rush. We can just simmer down. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Chad Hill, Hayden Hollis, and Jason Richards.
All right, no script, just some notes, no filter. We'll see on the other side. My name's Chad Hill. I'm a resident of Pleasant View. I've got 2 kids that are attending here, and they love it here. Superintendent Butters, board president, board members, thank you for arranging this and give us the opportunity to speak our mind. All right, my background. I'm a retired Air Force first sergeant. It's hard to believe. This hippie once upon a time used to clean up nicely and even look somewhat good in a flight suit. But as a hippie, I'm standing here telling you I love this school. Now, Part of not writing a script was I was feeling a little bit spicy this week, and I wanted to just come out here with some emotion. I understand that ad hominem attacks are probably not going to be beneficial to anybody's cause or for what we're trying to accomplish here. But my background in the military, 23 years working for Uncle Sam, not once have I ever seen actual good use of taxpayer monies. I think that we can see that whether it's the federal government or local governments. It always seems that we want to spend every dime that we get and never give anything back to the taxpayers. And again, I know that comes off a little bit harsh, and this is based off of personal experience that I'm projecting. Personal experience, I was a resource advisor at one time. I was in charge of all of the commander's equipment as well as spending the commander's money. And I got verbally reprimanded one year because I was able to procure all the stuff that we needed for that year and had a little bit of money left over. Sergeant Hill, why couldn't you spend that money? And so it has left me a little bit bitter and a little bit jaded, and I understand that when we talk about finances here in the district, that I am projecting my emotions. And so I kind of want to lead with that. Now, I had intended to continue to be spicy, but somebody that I respect had a conversation with me at the beginning of this and reminded me that sometimes I don't have the bird's eye view. And it kind of changed what kind of tone that I wanted to have. So there's been a lot of discussion about how well Lomond View performs, and I don't want to detract from how well all the other schools do. But as a parent of children who go to this school, my focus is obviously going to be here. But I do recognize that a rising tide raises all ships, and what I don't want to see is a decision that is made in hopes to shore up a budget shortfall, put more schools in classrooms that detracts from learning from other kids. I want Lomond View kids to succeed. I also want Orchard Springs kids to succeed, as well as the children at North Ogden Elementary. I've got 3 suggestions. Let's see if I can get through this in 34 seconds. Board Member Larson, I appreciate the conversations that you and I had and very similar suggestions from when I talked to you. The first suggestion is not very useful, and that's do nothing and leave our school alone. Second suggestion, explore other expenses and where cuts can be made. I know that there were a lot of feelings coming out of the Truth and Taxation meeting. And my last suggestion is we delay a decision until we have better fidelity on the future community growth and that we understand the population that's coming here. Thanks.
Thank you, Chad. Hayden Hollis, and then Jason Richards and Jess Crawlis.
Hi, my name is Hayden Hollis, and I'm 11 years old and in 5th grade. I've been going to school at Lomond View since kindergarten. I love the school. We have a kind principal, great teachers, and a great foundation for learning. Our district says that our school is too old and that our school is too small. Well, to be fair, I'm small and I like it. I'm sure the reason that most of you are here is because you love Lomond View too. Even though it's old, it's awesome. We even have an awesome playground. It's huge and a big field that we love to run around and play games in. Our school is unique. It's not modern like the new schools, it's old-fashioned, and that's part of why we love it. Taking care of old things helps us appreciate our history. Hopefully this has inspired you to listen to us and to save Lomond View. Thank you for our time.
That's Jason Richards, Jess Crawlis.
Howdy, I'm Jason Richards, live in Pleasant View. I'm here representing myself and my family with my 2 girls who go here to school. We are transplants like many others who talked here tonight, and the reason that we're here in this community is because of Lomond View. And it's the reason we've stayed when we had opportunities to go other places. So it's an important part of our life. I'm a professional engineer and a manager of high-performing teams for one of the largest and most successful construction companies in the country. Work is what brought us here. And I'm here to talk to you as an expert in leadership, teams, and culture. So a lot of the things you've heard here today about what make Lomond View great have kind of gone beyond hard numbers, and appeals have been often emotional and personal. I'm not sure how that's going to land in the face of some of the financial realities that are facing the district, but I can tell you they're indicators of successful systems that you can't afford to dismantle either financially or professionally. I infer from a lot of the board's communications with parents in the community, there's sort of the assumption that breaking up Lomond View's high-performing staff and students will bolster surrounding schools and communities. But you've already heard hard research tonight that should make it very clear that's not the case, and in fact, the opposite is often true. And even more, I can tell you from personal and professional experience, that performance and culture do not survive dispersal. In fact, all the data you've reviewed and the additional extensive research and documentation provided by your concerned constituents should actually lead you to the opposite conclusion that you've made. You can't afford to close Lomond View. You should be doing all you can to keep Lomond View open as an incubator for the type of performance and success that you see here at your best elementary school, not dismantling it. This is how you turn the success of one team into the systemic growth and success across entire organizations, and that's something the district needs. Keep Lomond View open. Send administrators and teachers and leaders from your other schools that are not up to Lomond View's standard, and bring them here to learn from this incredible team and this culture that's been built here over decades and decades of dedicated professional and community support. Through this whole process, I've thought a lot about the sign that's on the boardroom where the board meets, and it says, "Children always come first." And I really hope that we take away more than anything else from this is that this school, its performance, this community, all these things that you see, whether they're soft and fuzzy things or they're really hard facts, you don't serve the children of your district by closing your highest performing school. Thank you.
Hi you guys, I'm Jess Carolus and this is Arden and she is in the 5th grade and she's the best for sure. You've heard everything you could possibly hear tonight and I am actually not here for you. I am here for them. And I would like to express my gratitude to this school for the difference that it has made in the lives of my children. And specifically my son Axel. I know some of you met him yesterday and he has an open letter that he left for everyone in the district and I would like to read that. Hi, and I am not gonna cry unless Arden pinches me, so don't pinch me. Stop pinching me. My name is Axel Carolus. I am in 6th grade at Lomond View Elementary. When I was in kindergarten, the COVID lockdowns happened. Like everyone else, I missed half of school. Then in 1st grade, I had a really bad accident. I went down the laundry chute at a birthday party and I broke my head. I had a skull fracture, a brain bleed, and a complex TBI. I was in the hospital for a while in a trauma unit, and I missed the last half of 1st grade. Those two things happened right when I was supposed to be learning the basics, and I fell behind. I had trouble remembering things, reading, writing, and even talking to people. In 2nd grade, Mrs. Johnson noticed something that wasn't quite right with my reading before my parents even knew. His parents aren't that sharp, you guys. She worked with me every day and she helped me catch up. She also noticed that I was struggling with some other basic functioning and she was kind and she accommodated me. In 3rd grade, Mrs. Argyle was so patient with me. She made special hand signals just for me so I could tell her when I was having a hard time and I couldn't get the words out. Stop pinching me.
I'm not.
It meant that I couldn't even ask to use the bathroom sometimes, and she made it possible, and she practiced reading with me every day. In 4th grade, Miss Mangum saw that I was still struggling, and she suggested to my mom that I get a 504 plan. Miss Mangum and Mrs. Fisher worked with me one-on-one every day and helped me get stronger at reading. Around that time, I also struggled socially. I really got anxious, and I didn't know how to act around kids anymore because the part of the brain that he broke. It got really hard to even leave my house. That's when Miss Allred and Mr. Green started helping me. They helped me understand my feelings and taught me how to handle my anxiety. Mr. Green especially helped me see myself differently and believe in myself again. By 5th grade, everything started to change. My reading and math scores went up. I got voted class president and the Hope Squad. Mrs. Broad knew just what I needed and she continued to work with me. My recall and comprehension hit 100%. Now I'm in 6th grade. I'm a math tutor. I test above grade level in reading and math and I love coming to school. My parents try really hard but they're dumb. Please don't close the school.
Janice Scoville, Jerica Mays, and Chloe 2.
Hi, my name is Gemma Skello. I've been at Lomond since kindergarten. My siblings have been here too. Two of them is in junior high. Their names are Reese and Nora. Reese is in 9th grade and Nora is in 7th. I am in 4th grade with my twin brother Eli. My brother Ben is in 5th grade. My teacher, Mrs. Shatudi, I love her. She's my favorite teacher ever. And Mrs. Malmborg and Mrs. Burns. I love Lomond and I don't want to be at a different school than my friends, especially my BFF Darby and Navy. And I don't want our school to get shut down, and that's why I love Lomond.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jerica Mays, and I think I have a unique perspective that hasn't been shared yet. I'm here because friends show up. I'm a parent at Green Acres Elementary, which is just southeast of here, and I have 4 children. I've got twins that are in the 1st grade, a 3-year-old, and I had a baby boy just a few days ago. My story is that when my twins were in kindergarten, my little girl kept coming home with things in her pockets, and I kept trying to figure out, what are you collecting? She said, oh, this is really cool. There were little pieces of the playground exterior plastic coating that was coming off, and she thought it was fun to collect it. And I thought, what's going on here? So I took a look at the playground. It's bowing. The protective coating is coming off. When it's rainy, the sand turns into, like, my son's shoes get stuck in the sand. And really, it's made me think, what are we doing at a district-wide level to maintain our facilities? So from that experience, I volunteered my time to do some grant writing to help raise money to replace the playground equipment. And at Green Acres and at many schools across the district, including Lomond View, we're seeing the consequences of decades of deferred maintenance. Playground safety, inclusive design, and ongoing maintenance of facilities should not rely on grassroots fundraising efforts. They should be part of a stable, district-funded plan. Here, you are looking to evaluate whether to close a high-performing school, not because of academics, but because the district cannot afford to maintain all of its buildings. This is a structural district-wide budget problem that will continue to show up until it's addressed at the root. As a governing body, what an opportunity you have ahead of you as stewards of our educational system. We really need a long-term maintenance plan, predictable capital funding, and a district-wide strategy that focuses not just on what to cut or close, but what it takes to responsibly care for the buildings we already own. You're here because you care, and you're here listening because you want to make a difference. I would ask that you look at this from a systemic point of view of how we're maintaining our current facilities and playgrounds. Thank you.
Chloe 2. Okay, and then there was a Drake written underneath that. I presume maybe Drake 2. Okay.
I was just wondering if I could take the place of the speaker. I do have one point that no one's brought up that I think is extremely significant, and it would probably be about a minute.
That box.
What's that?
If we open that box, then we have to give that to everybody.
Okay, I thought you did open the box, but I guess not. No? 1 minute? Okay, sounds good. What's that?
That concludes our list of online and those that have signed up tonight. We appreciate everybody that has.
Sorry, I know you guys have been here forever, but I.
Keep it down already, good job. No speak. One more.
Well,
one more.
We've had about a half a dozen that has happened to, and so I don't know what happened online, but we didn't get them on the list. So,
I'll go quick. I'll be
Yeah.
2.5 minutes.
No.
I'll read fast.
No. Okay.
I'll just say it now. And email.
Go ahead, but let's go in order. So Keith Buswell was the first one that happened to, that's still here. This gentleman behind him.
Thank you, Board. My name is Keith Buswell. I'm a white-haired taxpayer in the community here in Pleasant View. But I'd like to share some observations and some historic perspective. Number one, I've got to tell you, this has been, as a community member, this has been an inspirational night to hear these folks, well prepared, articulate, and thought timely that they've been able to stay within your time frame. My favorite thing though tonight has been watching you as the board when the kids talk. You all smile. Now you don't smile at old guys, but you've all smiled when we talk about it being about the kids. I appreciate your perspective in that. 66 years ago, I was a first grader at North Ogden Elementary when my friends from Pleasant View got ripped out to come to Lomond View to the new school. My high school principal was J.H. Reese. I attended North Ogden Elementary School, Walkwist Junior High, and Weber High. None of those three buildings exist, but I've survived. My lovely wife and I have 8 kids. They've, with professional pursuits in different parts of the country. They've been in elementary schools in Colorado, Kansas, Montana, and our youngest 3 daughters were here at Lomond View. We're proud to be able to be part of this community. My experience From an education point of view, I've sat on your side of the table as a member of elected twice at a school board in Kansas, served in 3 community councils here in Weber County at North Ogden, Orion, and Weber. Served on this Weber School Foundation board for over a decade, and also was elected on the state school board and involved with the business community and education first and other priorities throughout the state. When I served on the rural school board in Kansas, we had 1 high school, 2 junior highs, and 8 elementaries, and they all needed work. The schools had not had, very conservative, no bond issues for many years. The decision was made to consolidate or look at some other new schools and go through it. As we went back and forth, the decision was, let's take these neighborhood, community, strong little schools and make them better. We had, our motto was, we have class, we need rooms. We added some rooms and things to every one of the schools, but kept them in place. Now things have changed over the years in Kansas, it's not the same. But I would encourage you and invite you to feel the strength of what's come out of this tonight and keep the school open.
My name's Craig Bowden. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and 53% of Weber County is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We recently, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ, I left my home for 2 years to go serve a mission in Spain. The reason why I did this, because I love my Savior and that's what I thought He wanted me to do. And so I did it. We recently had the passing of our president, Russell M. Nelson, and we had a new leader of our church take over. His name is Dallin H. Oaks. We have a general conference that happens biannually. In this general conference, Dallin H. Oaks pointed out that there is decreased birthing rates that is occurring throughout not only our church, but throughout the world. He said that we should be having more children. What do you think that's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen in 5 years when everyone who loves their Savior, like I do, thinks, oh, maybe I should have another kid? I'm 45 years old. I said I would never have another kid unless an angel came and told me to have another kid, because my 4 boys that love this school are crazy. But I considered it briefly. Yes, so probably need an angel. But what do you think is going to happen with these people who think there's a prophet who speaks for the Lord, says you need to have more children? In 5 years, you're going to have a population boom here in Weber County, in Utah, that you need to take into account. Who cares about the houses that are coming in here? Every single person's going to have 1 more kid, and what do you think is going to happen? You need to plan for that. If you haven't thought about that, ask your neighbors. There's lots of them that are members of the church, and they're going to tell you, well, maybe I thought about having 1 more kid. Take that into account. Thank you.
Changed my mind, we can just end with that one. No, I really do appreciate you guys taking a few more minutes to hear us out. My name is Steve Mitten. I have 4 amazing kids, 2 which go to school here currently and 2 which will be coming to school here in the next 2 years, so I'll have 4 kids coming here in total. But one thing that I do wish is that we didn't have this table here, because I feel like it separates you guys and us. It makes it seem like it is us versus you, and I don't think that it should be that way at all. I feel like it should be more collaborative, working together. One thing that I've noticed that has been very impressive just in the last couple months that you guys had started thinking about this is the amazing brain power that the parents and particularly moms in this community have, that is mind-boggling, the amount that they can research and study and organize and collaborate, that seems like more than what you'd find in like a Fortune 500 boardroom. I've been very impressed with them. Wouldn't you all rather work with them to come up with a mutually beneficial conclusion, something instead of taking away something that clearly means so much to the community and to the district? There is one thing that I think hasn't been mentioned quite yet. I know that there have been a lot of things mentioned, but there have been a lot of testimonies that have been shared, and I think that one thing that we haven't really highlighted is the amount of distrust in the district that could be lost by us feeling like you aren't really hearing us out, like you're rushing the situation. And I think that it's very important for you all to really listen to what we're saying and what we want as the community and as the parents of our children. We're not talking about closing our favorite restaurant or our favorite barber. We're talking about our school, which benefits our children. And I would plead with you all to please consider that and just realize how important that is to us. In my less than minute that I have here, I want to see if you guys will humor me for a second and close your eyes for a quick story. I know I've already asked a lot, but if you wouldn't mind doing that. Picture your very first elementary school. Picture the hallway tiles, the smell of the lunchroom, your favorite teacher, whose name you still remember. Picture where you hung your backpack, where you first learned to read, the playground where you figured out who your friends were. Now imagine being 6 years old, and one day the grown-ups tell you that place doesn't exist anymore. Your friends, your teachers, your routine, all gone. You'll start over somewhere else. As an adult, that feels like a logistical problem. To a child, it feels like losing a world. You didn't become educators to disrupt children's worlds. You became educators to build them. The kids in our neighborhood don't need the biggest school or the newest school. They just need their school, one where they feel safe, seen, and known. How will you be remembered? Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you coming, spending the night, sitting on a hard chair, sharing your thoughts with us. There's still a lot to go through on this study, and we appreciate your participation. Please drive safe on your way home tonight. Please drive safe on your way home tonight, and we appreciate you coming forward. I'm going to ask for a motion to close this hearing. Jan? Second? Janice? Any questions, discussions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? Thanks.